Welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera, a psychic medium, a Taino Airwalk, and this is All Spirit Messages, where I am delivering out to you whatever message or messages are coming through from your guides, angels, deceased loved ones, or pets, ancestors. I don't know what message is going to come through for you, and I don't know who or where it's going to come from. Now, if you have a specific person or spirit on the other side that you would like to hear from, you can go ahead and drop your donation now, drop your specific question, and do include the first name, if that spirit has one, of who it is that you want to hear from. And you can even be specific, more specific than that. So if you want to hear from, let's say, your deceased mother, Janet, and you want to know what her opinion is on your current financial status or what you should do about a situation in life, you can even get that specific. It's entirely up to you. Okay. So go ahead, drop your donation. That's in the description box above or below. And if you're on Instagram or TikTok, Diana, my beautiful producer, is writing it repeatedly, pinning it, attempting to in the comment section. So again, it's open-ended. You're just here to receive a message, or you can ask specifically to hear from someone or about something, or both. Hopefully I didn't make that too confusing. Okay, if you want to book a private reading, a party, or a psychic fair with me, I do work internationally. It's a super simple self-booking system. Go on to my website, ivyriverapsychicmedium.com. Because I work internationally, there's a ton of availability in different time zones. And if none of that works for you, I've done the best that I can. You could just get a video. Okay, and that'll come to you whenever it's most convenient for you. All right, let's go ahead and start getting into these. This is a test show, which means that if it does really well, you guys give it a ton of engagement, I will add this show to my 2026 lineup. So give it some love. Stop right now. Drop a comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Give it a heart. Give it a thumbs up. Hype it up. Share and subscribe. Starting with the first one is Terry. Oh, Terry Cruz became a YouTube member. Welcome, Terry. Thank you so much for your membership. Sweet P. Okay, this is Sweet P 1024. Okay, Maraid says, hi, Ivy. What message does Spirit have about my relationship with Daniel? Okay. We have been almost inseparable since we met, and I frequently see 111 whenever I'm with him. Thank you. Okay, so Daniel and Sweet Pea. Spirit, what do you have to say about it? You know, I feel like this is supportive in an effortless way. I'm hearing, and I want to say this is mostly coming from a grandmother, mom's side of the family, who's talking about wanting you to have more relationships with ease. And that's why this is really something worth like keeping around, paying attention to. I feel like I'm choking. And this has to do with your throat chakra. Now, she isn't necessarily owning this karmically, but I do feel like your grandfather would have to. And she may have been with a man who silenced the family. So she has some level of karmic debt to you in this area. She is encouraging you to keep up. It just feels like, keeping up communication with Daniel, because this allows you to clear your throat chakra, which is karmic. It can feel like a massive undertaking, and it can be a situation for many people when you have a closed throat chakra that takes a lifetime to work through, because learning is cyclical, healing is cyclical, clearing chakras can also be somewhat cyclical, meaning it comes back around as a test over and over and over again. What Daniel does for you is he helps you without saying a word, without trying at all. He helps you to better understand what your truth is. When we say that the throat chakra is about two things, it's A, speaking your truth, and B, if you did and it was disrespected, disregarded, you set a boundary. Okay. You maybe even walk away. Daniel's a bit of a soundboard for you in all of this. So he's helping you to see more clearly who you are, to recognize. Your grandmother shows it like holding up a mirror, one of those old style mirrors, you know, with the handle that like women would have at a vanity. It's like I hold this up and it's like as I'm talking to him or I can hear him in my head, he's pointing things out to me, you know, one of them being, hey, that's my friend, be careful. Hey, I love her. Don't talk to her like that. You know, you may be hard on yourself. And again, I'm going to blame this grandfather over here. Okay. But grandma tolerated it. You may have had a family that handed down some pretty harsh words, some strict and critical ways of thinking. There's not a lot of outside the box thinking. There's not a lot of freedom to be who you really authentically are in any way. And that may have translated to where you are now as low self-esteem. And sometimes you talk to yourself in a harsh manner, in a critical manner, or as though you will fail, like you're not deserving of things, or as though you shouldn't try for better things because those things aren't for you. You can't have them. Even if you got them, you couldn't maintain them. Daniel breaks, okay, shatters those toxic illusions for you. So I think part of the reason she really likes him a lot is because he's helping her with her work, okay, which is a beautiful system. And that is how the system works, okay, thankfully. So yeah, that's the nature of the relationship. It's supportive and it helps both of you to learn more about each other. It's not just a one-way street. Okay, so we would say soul tribe, which is like a soulmate connection, but a little bit less intense. And the ones that you see 111 are backing that. All right, so those ones show up showing you huge opportunity, but not without a lot of work. Okay. Thank you, Sweet Pea. Moving on to Sweet Pea said, thank you, Ivy. You are very welcome. Hope that helps. That's certainly a relationship to celebrate. We need more of those. Abby, like Hicks, says, any messages? Okay, so Abby, like Hicks. Any messages for Abby? Who's coming through for Abby? Very tall gentleman, 6'1". You got another one over here who's like 6'3". I mean, these guys are ridiculously tall, in my opinion. You know, there's, I want to say, a lot of paternal energy coming in here with you today. One who feels like a father figure. And I want to say one who feels more like a grandfather, would have served in the military, would have been rather quiet. I hear I'm being silenced or I'm silencing myself. You have some tendencies to silence yourself. And this isn't the best thing for your, they're saying, boat ride. If you are the captain of your own ship, if you want to go places, if you want to see changes, if you want to get things done, like this year, first 2 quarters of 2027, there's a big V coming through here, like a victory. Okay. But only when, not until, and they're both kind of talking at the same time. I call it piggybacking or collective messaging. Also, if anyone else is in the audience able to take this message, this is also for you with these big, tall guys, 1'6", 1'6'3", brown hair, dark hair, military, comb to the side with the one, the other one back. Victory. How do we get to the victory? You're going to have to clear your throat chakra. This is not entirely different than what Mairead got a little bit of a mention of, but I do feel like you're not as far along as you could be. Okay. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. I don't want to say as far along as you should be, but psychically, I kind of want to call you out on that a little bit, because you have had opportunities to speak up and you've been like, nicey nice, a little kumbaya, like, let's not rock the boat, like, let's all get along, or I'm going to take this red flag from this person and I'm going to turn it pink, or I'm going to collect red flags, or I'm going to hold space, or I'm a nice person, I'm always the martyr, I'm always the nice one. Don't be. Like, stop that. Okay. Who told you to do that? How's that working out? It's not. Okay. It's a scam. Look at things also as a woman. Okay. So look at your race, look at your gender, look at your living environment, your community, so to speak. Look at how you were silenced and taught to be like a good girl. There are some things that you have examined here. And the one grandfather, or the one gentleman coming through here, I want to say the taller one, he lights up a cigar. This is something to celebrate. It's something to celebrate. You have to look at all the different ways you've been speaking your truth. If you've been ignored or dismissed, you've been fighting back in the last, I want to say 2 to 3 years, but the other guy is mentioning 5 years total. And something would have happened even 7 years ago with a female in the family, maybe your mom, okay, or a grandmother, that triggered a lot of this. You've made big accomplishments. You've grown leaps and bounds, but there's still work to do here. So adopting an attitude about yourself, like, I know my personality, I speak up for myself, I've got a little fire, in me, not enough to pull off where you could be headed, what you could be doing, the accomplishments you could make in this upcoming year. And again, the first 2 quarters of 2027, not enough. Dig deeper. Okay. We're talking deconstruction, deprogramming, reprogramming. Get your voice, use it unapologetically. They're going to be helping you to get there. I want to move on to another one. I just want to say this guy. The one guy here too, he's a little bit of a flirt. He's talking about, I love women. Okay. That's, it's like, that's good. Thank you. I think it is entirely possible, and not to out him if you're not familiar with this information, I love that he loved women. I love that he would stand up for women and that he was a protector. He may have also been a little bit of a hoe. He may have had a second family, or he may have ran around, or, okay, lots of ways to love women. I don't know that I agree with them all here, but whatever. He's charming. He could have had whoever he wanted, okay, and he did love the ladies. All right, let's move on to another one. That's too funny. It's probably half of our grandfathers, honestly. All right, let's look at another one coming in here for Manny. Manny, hi, Ivy. Can I receive a message from my brother, Richard? Richard, brother, for Manny. He's very sweet. He's been standing over here and to the back a little bit behind a bunch of other people, and he's very soft-spoken. Okay, but he's kind of charismatic. So it's like the best of both worlds. He's patient. He's calm. I feel like he was waiting on this. So you may have already spoken to him. You may have told him that you were going to come here for this, and like you guys had it all worked out. But he knew, he would be called. Now, and he kind of has a smirk on his face here and he smiles about it. If I would have known that I may not get called on, I could throw a couple elbows here. I could push my way through the crowd. I can get up to the front. I'll catch her ear. But for the most part, this is a calm, respectable guy who paid a lot of attention to what others need. He would give you the shirt off his back. He was all about family. He was all about community. And I feel like this kind of breaks my heart a little bit. I don't want to say that he's the only person in your life that's like you, but there is a sense of him being irreplaceable. He's playing Unchained Melody, which is that the Everett Brothers? Or I don't remember who. Unchained Melody is a song, an old song. And I'm also hearing some like Roy Orbison, but then I'm hearing some harder stuff that just feels like rock. Like, I don't know. I didn't listen to him. I don't know. Maybe I'm hearing like ZZ Top or something like that. I don't know where I'm going with that part, but you know him better than I do. He's using music to let you know that he's around, and he wants you to pay attention to the lyrics that come up. These aren't just songs that are coming like onto the radio for you. These are also songs that are like, out of order in your playlist or popping into your head or you're waking up. He said his new trick is when you're dozing off or you're waking up, you hear songs playing in your head. Okay, so that's when the veil is lifted. The veil is lifted between the worlds. You can hear and see the spirits that are there and what they have to say more easily. He rings your ears. He says you communicate through clairaudience. Okay, so like you get that weird tinnitus, your ear rings, especially on the left side, and then he puts thoughts in your head. Answers, solutions, especially in the bathroom. Our native belief is the porcelain, earth, water, mirrors are all conductors of communication with the other side. So it activates. Okay, it activates communication. He keeps talking about a ring. So whether you were just given a ring, you have his ring, you're aware of the ring. He's talking about a ring. He's also talking about a necklace. But I see a cross on here. So if you're not religious, you don't have a cross in memory of him, this is symbolic just of faith, holding on to faith. And I feel like this is where you and him were very similar, where you help other people find faith. And this doesn't have to be in like God, right? Or a religion. Okay. It's more like in love, in the universe, in oneself. And I feel like you're going to be doing more of that. And he's going to be helping you with that. And that's where this makes me a little bit sad to watch it, because it does feel like you guys were very much on the same page with that. He also wants you to just remember to have some fun. This is the second time he like cracked open a beer. I don't even know if he was a beer drinker per se, but this is the second time he did this. When he first came in, he was like, if I wasn't going to get in here, and he cracked open a beer and he was like, I could throw a couple elbows to get my way up to the front. But he's doing it again. But he's doing it like, let's crack open a beer at this concert, or let's crack open a beer and sit around this fire or on this porch and like listen to some tunes and just like talk and, I don't know, shoot the shit. It's like he misses these times with you. So just make sure you're doing that. Like you could do that on your own and then like hear from him more clearly when you're doing that. And make sure you're doing that with other people and finding ways to celebrate your life and like the simple things. But he loves you. He says you're beautiful. There's also a lot of mention of a tattoo. I forgot to say that earlier. A lot of mention of a tattoo, and like 3 other people too, including a younger female in the family who may have like tattoo. Like, I don't know if it's of his name or his name was handed down. Now, this could also mean his name is not necessarily someone else's, like a baby's first name, but maybe the middle name. Something about the initials also working out. So tattoos, whoever has the tattoos. And thank you for handing down the name. A lot of love to you from him. All right, we're going to move on to another one. Who is next? Also, if you guys are tuning in late, please give this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment of any kind. It helps me out in the algorithm. Please do subscribe, share this video. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And what you can do to join in for tonight's show is to drop a $10 donation. Diana, my beautiful producer, is posting that in the comment section. And if you're here on YouTube, it's in the description, I think above, not below, I think. And then after that, you can ask to hear from a specific spirit. You can ask something specific that you want to hear spirits answer, or you can just leave it open-ended and I'll deliver out to you whatever message comes through from whatever spirit shows up for you today. All right, we're going to move on to another one. Edgar says, what messages do they want me to know right now? I do feel that huge positive changes will happen soon and this year. I'm excited for this year. Okay. What messages do you guys have for Edgar about this year? This year, 2026, Edgar Velardes, what messages do you guys have? It's mostly your guides. Your joy guide who watches over your mental and emotional well-being as well as your spiritual development. And your work and money guide, your relationship guide is coming in here. And what I love to see is your protector guide stepping back and being like, okay, I can take a rest. You gave this poor dude a run for his money the last 2 years, especially with like health stuff. I can't prescribe a diagnose. And like, okay, so he needs a break. It's in travel. Yeah, travel, where you went, what you were, okay. There was a lot. He had to do a lot. I think that right now, that's the first thing they want you to know. You're on solid ground. You're on solid footing. So if you're feeling a little bit like a little high, you ever go through a lot of shit and then you're coming down off of it, and for a while you're like a chihuahua. You're still wound up. But then like after maybe 3 weeks or so, you start to kind of, woo, it's like, I feel a little bit stoned. It's like, I feel a little high. I feel a little sedated. Like my dopamine is up or something. You may be feeling that vibe right now because you're coming out of a period of high intensity that lasted like 2 years into, so from a little bit of a chaotic state into what is harmony and solid foundation and balance. And this doesn't require anything more of you. You've already earned it. You've already created it. Okay. So it's just enjoying that. And they, are happy for you with this, but I do feel like they would like you to receive it a little bit more instead of like questioning it. Like, is everything okay? Is everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine. So you could stop now. Okay. Relax and enjoy that feeling. I think that your joy guide coming in here and talking about your mental and emotional well-being and your spiritual development is front and center, the biggest thing, okay, in 2026 and the first quarter in 2027. So this means basically you're going to be doing a lot with spiritual development. You're going to be doing a lot with intuitive intelligence, which to me is a completely different thing. One has really not a lot to do with the other. I know no one talks about that ever, but it really doesn't. So intuitive intelligence, we're talking psychic, mediumistic, and empathic. So you're going to be doing a lot with that. I see you doing a lot with energy or energy work in general. This could mean that you decide to maybe like train in something like Reiki, psychic surgery, energy manipulation. And then we have your relationship guide. Okay. Also, your joy guide is talking about more money coming in. Okay. More money. So like all of this may make money as well, or be another route of income for you, or help you with the work that you're doing to make more money. Okay. So transferring everything that you're learning spiritually, energetically, and intuitively, transferring, okay, all of that into your work. And don't forget that, and this is a general collective message, intuitive intelligence, psychic, mediumistic, and empathic abilities, which exist in all of us, they will always trump. Intuitive intelligence trumps emotional intelligence, which isn't all that intelligent at all most of the time, and logic. Okay. Always. So you're basically leaning in, she says, and you're tapping into your highest form of intelligence, intuitive intelligence. Now, we also see your relationship guide stepping forward here and is talking about more fluidity, more pleasant interactions, an increase in not to put all your business out there, but maybe an increase in your sexiness or your sexual activity or whatever. They're showing you what the heck was his name? John Travolta? This goes back before me. In that disco movie, John Travolta, I just see the, V, and his chest hairs and he's real, I don't know. He was super smooth in that movie. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've seen parts of it. He was super smooth. Okay. So John Travolta is also kind of seen as this sex symbol. And there is a lot of connections that you may make that don't necessarily last a lifetime, but they're a ton of fun. And they help you to raise your vibration. And then there are some that come in that look, I don't want to say more serious necessarily, but longevity is there. So they're really going to last. I'm hearing last a lifetime. How do I have low battery? I'm plugged in. What more do you want from me? So I love this for you. I love this for you. Okay, have a good time. I have to go deal with, Instagram is causing trouble for me today. I don't know what more I could do. Hold on a second here. I don't know. I mean, if it were to go out, if Instagram were to go out, no, there's no way that should go out. I'm like, am I crazy? Is this not plugged in? There's no way it should go out. If it does, I don't know what to say. Okay, switch. You guys on Instagram, switch over to YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium or TikTok at Ask Ivy. All right, let's move on to another one. Also, you guys, this is unlimited. So if you already asked one, you can go ahead and ask another or as many as you want. It's unlimited for tonight. Manny, is this Manny again or Manuel? I have been hearing songs in my head. That is true. Sounds very much like him. Thank you. Oh, Manny's talking about his brother who came through. You're very welcome. That's an amazing way for spirit to any spirit, okay? Any spirit to communicate with you. But because a lot of times when spirit comes through, this is for everyone, it's directional. They're not just like popping in to be like, I love you, I support you, They're often coming in and being like, you need to pay attention to this. You need to fix this or keep doing this or go in this direction, or it's time to get moving or get ready or whatever. And using songs is the easiest way. So when a song pops in your head, Google the lyrics. But I really love when spirit comes through and uses music, because it helps you to identify which spirit is trying to talk to you. So if you're a little bit of an amateur at mediumship, songs are popping in your head or they're moving around in your playlist or whatever, and you're like, who is doing this? Well, what band is it? Listen to the lyrics, listen to the song. What's the vibe? You know what I mean? You could usually pinpoint who. Music is amazing. All right, we're going to move on to another one, Shauna Dempsey. Now, I don't see a question here, so I'm assuming I'm just good to go, okay? Perfect. All right, Shauna Dempsey. Who has a message for Shauna Dempsey? Who are you? What do you have to say? I have your angel coming through. I want to say your guardian angel coming through, talking about giving some healing on your heart, washing, cleansing, detoxing some things out, a rush of a river. The river washes out, which is going to suggest that you've already done your 50% of the work. If you have been doing a lot of healing work for about like a year and maybe 8 months, 2 years total, but pretty intensely the last year and a half, 6 months ago, something happened with this. 9 months ago, there was a big conversation about this. And 3 ago, I don't know if this is 3 weeks or 3 months. I'm confused. Probably both. Okay, probably both. You would have been doing some healing here, and you have, I just see she put in the legwork. She's been walking this walk. You have not just been like talking the healing talk. You've been walking the walk. And this may not have been easy for you in a lot of ways. You may have even felt like you had to separate away from some people, circumstances, situations that you had grown accustomed to, that you had previously been investing in, or that you had been pretty comfortable with. You're also walking away from the mirror. This is intense. Okay. Walking away from the mirror means that, like, I'm proud of you watching this. Okay. This means that you have been willing, especially in the last 9 months, to look in the mirror and be like, I'm not that person anymore, and I'm okay with that. Let it go. Let her go. Okay. That is big. That is the biggest part, okay, of all of this. So now that you've gone through that process, you may have been feeling lately like, again, I get that 3 months, 3 weeks, maybe even 3 days, a little bit like I'm in the waiting place, or like, what's next? Or what do I do? What does it mean? Or where am I headed? What is this? And this is where we want to let the universe, let go and allow, now that you've held yourself accountable, you took responsibility, you did the work, you did 50% of the labor. Now we are going to let spirit, the universe, God, whatever it is that you believe in, come in here and do the rest. And that comes through a seemingly random detox, cleansing, washing away of whatever is left. And that's what's coming for you. And that is really going to be something to celebrate. I see like the champagne glass is clinking, or having a glass of like white wine or something like this, to celebrate, not with anyone else, very silently with yourself, with spirit, but more like with you and your higher mind. And every time I see you being like, well, I am really grateful. Okay. So your guardian angel just wants you to remember, every time you're going to be inclined in the upcoming, probably like 5 months, 5 to 7 months or so, every time you're going to be inclined to say like, well, I'm really grateful. Well, thank God. Well, I'm just blessed that, the tide has turned or things are going in this direction. That's great. Have an attitude of gratitude toward that. But don't forget, you did this. You did this. Okay. So how about a little more like, thank me. Okay. Thank my higher mind. Even thank my ego, which may have been out of whack some of this time, but now I'm in healthy ego. Like, thank me for the decisions I made that were really hard, for holding the line, for doing the impossible. And look at how far I've come. Pat yourself on the back. If you want to journal it out, write it out, talk it out. I see the mic up in front of your face. Maybe you're doing some of this on social media. You're assisting others with this process. You've now reached a point of mastery. So that phase is coming in. It will clear out the last of it. And there's nothing to do but receive it. Okay. So just let it happen. You may cry a lot, or have like nasal drainage, or like a kundalini type of effect. But that's normal. Okay. So yeah, you are being held. She says you are being held. And now you're ready to hold others. This is huge. Thank you for the super sticker. I see Zatrina. Thank you so much. We are going to move on to another one. This is Deanna. Deanna Marie, general spirit message, please. Deanna Marie, what is coming through for Deanna, who and what is coming through? You have a guy coming in here who shows a needle, okay, like a syringe. Like a syringe, is that what it's called? A needle? A needle. You have a guy coming through here who may have dealt with a systemic issue that required, like, I can't prescribe or diagnose, but I mean, we could be talking about anything from diabetes to, like dialysis to cancerous condition. I mean, I hate to say, you know what I'm saying, but he may have dealt with something like this. He's looking, 5'9", 5'10". Yeah. I mean, he keeps an eye on you. And I hate to say it, but just in case I'm wrong on this, a needle can represent some other things. Okay. So, take it out resonates, but I feel like, he's a little rough around the edges, and he's not the type of person, when he was here on earth, he wasn't the type of person to be affectionate, to explain how much he loves you, to really let you know that he's here to protect you. I mean, if anything were going on, he would have come in and beat some ass. All right. But like, here it goes again with the stupid low battery thing. He would have shown it through actions, but he wasn't necessarily the kind of person to verbally express his love, his gratitude, his satisfaction or appreciation with the relationship, and possibly anything really about life. Like, there are a lot of situations where it seems like he held back and reads as being, in my opinion, disconnected, detached, so he comes through here letting you know that he's protecting you. I see dark hair, green eyes. or light eyes, but I'm pretty sure they're green or hazel. And letting you know that you're getting ready to play your hand. It's almost like you've got these cards and you're looking over at your cards and you're like, I don't know what anyone else at the table has. If this were poker, it's like, I don't know. How do I know? How do I know for sure? I don't want to put my cards down if I could get a better hand. Like, not only do you not know what everyone else is holding, you don't know what the next card is. If you were to say, like, I don't know, what do you say in poker? Hit me? Like, you don't know what else could come. Could you do something better than this? Is this not the right time? Is it? Is this good enough? Not having a lot of confidence in the hand that you're about to play either. So it's like you're looking at your cards, you're thinking like, this isn't very good. And so you're getting on defense instead of offense. You're looking at the outside world, other people, potential obstacles. He says you're overthinking it. So it's like he was a little bit like live free, live free, die young type of guy. He was very like, whatever, I am who I am. I'm going to do it my own way. Like, I'm living. Okay. I'm living and that's it. Don't bother me with any of that junk. There's a time and a place for this to work in your favor. And I think you need to tap in a little bit more with his energy in that you are getting ready to play your hand and make a move. All right. So when you put your cards down, he's going to help you to navigate. But I do feel like winner takes all. It's like I put my cards down and I'm taking all the winnings at this table. And other people are like, really? Like they got beat significantly so. Which can also mean that they put in too much. They put in more than what they should have. They were overly confident in their hand. And you were the opposite. Head becomes the tail and the tail becomes the head. And you have a lady coming through here agreeing with him and giving you a bouquet of flowers. And they look like wildflowers. And maternal energy, grandmother energy, would have had like a light brown hair when she was younger, may have let it go quite gray and stopped coloring it. A little plump. 5'5" at best. She did come in here cooking sauce earlier in the reading, and which is Claire Augustine. So you may smell her perfume or smell flowers or smell her sauce. But it's a phantom odor. No one else does. And these wildflowers are reminding you of who you are, that you are a wildflower. Don't forget, because the last few years, 3 in particular, you've been like a cactus, which is like prickly on the outside, soft and mushy on the inside, not asking for a lot of water, maybe not needing a lot of water, surviving a lot of hard circumstances, not very playful or fun. Okay. Not always having a lot of flowers on them, but you are this wildflower. So kind of a wild spirit coming back to you. Lean into it. Watch for her in a dream also right around this time. We are going to move on to another one. Thank you so much, Deanna. Thank you, Spirit. Shauna Dempsey says, thank you. I really needed that confirmation. Shauna, you're so welcome. You're very loved. Amazing. Next one up is Anna Pekka. General reading for Anna Pekka. Anna Pekka, what spirits are here for Anna? Stop. No, you didn't. Shut it down. Don't look back. Rearview mirror. Something about a sticker on your car. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Shut it down. Shut it down. Don't look back. Rearview mirror. Rearview mirror. Objects in your mirror closer than they appear. Who are you? Your protector guide. Okay, you need to stop. Like if there is a situation here where you've been toying with some people, situations, circumstances that are below you, and you think you're toying with them in such a way where it's like, I'm flirting with this. I know it's bad, but I know they're toxic, or I know this person is shit, but I'm going to toy with them anyways. You're getting into a whole new ball game over here. You don't know until you try to drive away and you see objects in your mirror closer than they appear, okay? Or how they're tracking you. And I'm not here to scare you, but when I see something like this weird bumper sticker or your car being followed or your car being tracked, you may be dealing with some people you think are typical and disappointing. Yes. But, by no means are they like the bad guys. I disagree. Okay. I beg to differ. And what's happening here is that your protector guide is coming in and doing absolutely everything they can in their power to extract you and can't. Okay. Most protector guides, unless you were in like some type of an accident, can't normally like physically move you or physically move objects. And we do see this happen with protector guides. We do see this happen with guardian and protector angels sometimes in circumstances like that. But this isn't that. This is you not being caught off guard in an accident. This is you choosing it. This is you feeding it. This is you knowing better and deciding that you're going to entertain this person, these people, these circumstances that are below you. You have been told to move on. You've been told to move away from this. You have been shown that even after setting a boundary or multiple boundaries with someone, that they are disrespecting that boundary, that they are maybe like watching you on social media or coming at you another way or calling you from a fake number, right? Hidden numbers, things like this. That's psycho. And it may be more serious than what you think. And again, I'm not trying to scare you, but you aren't dealing with what you think you're dealing with here. And I think this also means energetically. So you are entering into a period of time where your protector guide is saying to you, you're about to get hit with some significant karmic kickback, which means you're choosing people and situations that are below you, that aren't good for you, and you're entertaining them and telling the universe, that's all I'm worth. That's all I am. Give me more of this. And that's where it really starts to get dark. No more of that. Okay. Be done. Choose you, love you. Choose you, love you. I'm hearing choose you, love you. Okay. So we can too. We're going to move on to another one. Eric Evans says, hi, Ivy. Any messages for Eric Evans? Okay. Eric Evans. Who's here for Eric Evans? A grandfather. It's a musket. Is that what we call these? A musket? I see I'm going to have to go with that because that's what I'm hearing. I don't know if that's what that means exactly. But I see the type of gun you would like stick something in and maybe like pull it back and like smoke would come out of it, old. I'm going back like Civil War old. Okay. And I mean, I guess you could call him an ancestor. I feel like when we start talking about the ancestors, we're going way back. I mean, this is someone you must have photographs of. You are fairly aware. You didn't sit on his lap, but you're fairly aware of him. Okay. We at the very least have his name in cursive on some things in like family photos and books, bookkeeping. So he's talking to you about knowing yourself a little bit better and being able to make decisions more clearly, conscientiously, expeditiously, he said. So we're talking about efficiency, moving things forward faster, especially in regards to like real estate, land, investments, property, your resources in a serious way. So like, what else should you be doing at this time? Where should you be focusing your energy and your resources to maximize your prosperity? I heard I'm leaving. So if you've been considering leaving, just know you have his blessing on that. And there is a sense of like rolling things over, which can mean like, I'm gonna sell this house to go get a property over here. Now, if you are looking at an actual relocation, we could be looking bigger than just, thank you so much for the hearts on TikTok. You guys are amazing. We could be looking bigger than just from like this house to this apartment, or, this town to the next county over. We could be talking states over. Um, Maybe even international. I don't think we're going that far, but maybe. There is a sense here of you being ready and it being time, also for some change with work. Now, whenever I'm talking about residency in my symbol base, I'm talking about two different things. I'm talking about your literal residency, and then I'm talking about your workspace. So this could be the field, okay, that you work in. This could be a different work environment, okay, or office or whatever. So we could be looking at some changes there that need to happen. Ultimately, he wants you to know yourself better. And what he means by this is taking more time to be introspective and less critical. He said every time you go inside yourself, you're very judgmental. It's almost like, I'm going to go on this hike. And this is something he used to love to do. Of course, he said back then we didn't call them hikes. Okay. It was like walking, going in the yard. Okay. Going out to work. But he had like quite a lot of land, and he shows this field. I don't think this is wheat or hay, but it looks like big, tall yellow grass. Anyways, he says he's very much like you and you like him, in that you like to go out for walks. You may call them hikes, okay? But every time you do this and you're like, I'm going to get in touch with myself and my higher mind, and I'm going to like be introspective, and I'm going to like, be with me. You're either looking at the phone, you're being interrupted by the phone, you're being interrupted by emails or thoughts of work and things like this, and you're being interrupted by your own inner dialogue that is toxic for you, where you put yourself down. Fears come in, cyclical loops, patterns of negativity. And it's like, stop. He wants to help you to stop that so that you can be more introspective in a healthier, he's talking about longevity here, okay, manner. Less of this cha-cha, this going on, this back and forth that you just don't need. And some of that may have also come from like relationships not working out, you being critical of you because of them. I don't even know that they said anything to you that was that critical, but like you're self-criticizing. And a lot of this, and he has karmic debt to you in this area because a lot of this came from him. Okay. These are issues he had that he never healed. And then he passed them down through the family until we get all the way down to you, back dating at the Civil War. Okay. This is when people talk, and this is a general message. Okay. And he loves you very much also. And you look just like him too. The eyebrows, the hairline, this right here, the upper lip, the teeth, it's ridiculous. The chin even. Yeah, the build. I think you're maybe a little bit taller, but the build. When we talk about, and he'll be visiting you in some dreams, a lot of this will be coming through dreams, automatic writing, words coming to you. Okay, things like this, written words. But when we talk about generational curses, I just want to explain this to everyone. I don't believe in that, but I do believe in generational programming. And this is what it looks like. Your great-great-great-grandfather went through something, and instead of healing it, he passed it down to the family until it gets down to you, looking like some manifestation that seriously needs to be dealt with. The chains need to be broken, okay? And you are the one called to do it. All right, let's move on to another one. Thank you, Eric. We have another one, Diana. Diana, you here? Thank you. Mackenzie M. Any messages from my spirit guides? Okay, Mackenzie. Any messages from spirit guides to Mackenzie? Stop. Shh. Quiet your mouth. Be quiet. This is your joy guide and your relationship guide. If you've been going through a period of time where you are overreaching, over speaking, over giving, that's energetically, emotionally, mentally, in your case, I also see literally, verbally. Okay. And you are trying, I heard trying with someone, although you do this in all areas. Okay. So we need to own that today, once and for all. You do this with work and money too. overreaching. There is now a call. It's like your CTA, your call to action is to pull back, to silence yourself, and to stop giving so much. You need to examine. It is time. Your joy guide watches over your mental and emotional well-being and your spiritual development. And your relationship guide watches over your relationships, trying always to focus on what you ought to do to create the best relationships. And you haven't been doing any of that. None of this, they say, none of this has been happening. So what you run the risk of doing now is setting those boundaries, holding the line. Okay, I'm going to stop overreaching here, but I'm just going to convert it into my own head. And instead of doing it out here, I'm just going to do it another way. Now I'm going to obsess over getting more, needing more, which is a form of overreaching, right? I'm going to worry about other relationships or potential future relationships. I'm going to just attract more of the same to me because I haven't really learned my lessons, and the lessons I have learned, I'm not applying, I'm not walking them out. I have to do this puzzle on TikTok. Okay, so you are being called to get serious, I'm hearing, which is a funny way to put it. Because when I hear get serious, it means that you've been taking things very lightly. You've been saying, it's okay, this isn't a problem, or I'm fine with this, or, a lot of other people do it. Everyone does this. You're not really taking ownership of yourself, okay? And what you could potentially lean into in your highest, they're saying highest vibration. All right, so you're choosing low vibrational ways of thinking now that you're exiting these bad habits of overreaching, which is just another form of the same problem. Hopefully that makes sense, but this is a time for you to focus on you and have very high standards. This is who I am. This is what I bring to the table. This is what I am claiming to me, not wanting, not hoping for, not praying for, not passively waiting for. This is what I am claiming to me. Apply that to your relationships, to your self-care, to your resources. And I think you're going to really be able to get up onto higher ground this year. There will be a series of tests that come along with that, and that's always how it goes. But I think you'll have a really high likelihood of passing those tests and getting out of this by the end of the year, out of this karmic cycle. All right. Thank you, Mackenzie. We're going to move on to another one. Manny. I don't know if this is a real question. Manny. Hi, Ivy. Okay, it is. All right, Manny, you're up next. Hi, Ivy. What message does Spirit have for me in regards to my psychic and mediumship unfoldment? Okay, Manny. Well, I have your joy guide here, and I, interestingly enough, also have your guardian angel, and I am itching. The left palm is itching. Your guardian angel watches over your mental and emotional well-being, and your joy guide also that, but also your spiritual development. So what seems to be happening here is that you have a really high likelihood. There is a really high likelihood that you'll be channeling angels a lot. Now, we call this claircognizance. I hope to see you for my psychic mediumship course. Okay, get registered. We start on the 3rd of February. Claircognizance is the all-knowing, the great understanding, the ultimate truth. It cannot be compared to any other clair. Clairsentience, clairempathy, clairvoyance, like none of those. It's not like those in that the things you experience in a state of claircognizance is through trance, and it, when you break it down, won't look like any of the other clairs really, or any combination of the clairs even. So it's a real phenomenon. It is often with a trance-like state where you go in and out of consciousness, awareness. And it's not dangerous. I mean, you may have like lapses in your memory, but it's not like blackouts, where you're in a toxic situation. It's not like that. Although it can sound very weird, and it is, I guess. There is an opportunity in claircognizance, which is the highest form of intuition and channeling for a human to have. There is an opportunity for an angel, the healing entities of the universe, to channel something directly through you and out to different circumstances, people, situations, and be absolutely transformative and permanent, even like automatic healing or miraculous healings and things like this. So you're going to want to pay attention to that ability. I always have a group of, in my new students, it is inevitable that I will always have people in there who are like, I have claircognizance. And it's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Claircognizance is also known as a gift bestowed upon a human being who is living a life of service authentically, not chasing it. Okay, but authentically. So most people who have claircognizance aren't like psychic mediums and tarot flippers and, you know what I mean, Reiki practitioners. They're nurses and doctors and EMTs, and they're pharmacists and firefighters. And even though cops rightfully so get a bad rap, I've even seen it in some cops who are there for the right reasons. People who would put their neck on the line for another person, and they do it regularly. They show up. Teachers, I see it with teachers. I see it sometimes with parents, certain types of parents who are like a parent to everyone. So this is a tremendous ability. I could go on and on about this. I'm going to just kind of wrap it up. That's all they had to say, really. Okay. Is that you have it. You should know that you have it. You should know how rare it is. Even if everyone likes to claim that they have it. No, they don't. I assure you. And people who have it don't know that they have it. Often because they can't remember that it happened, okay, when it does channel. So it's going to be interesting. You're going to want to lean into that, okay, with your psychic mediumship work. Fascinating. All right, let's move on to another one. Ooh, can we have this Abby comment? Can we see this Abby comment? Diana, do you have time to pop that up? Let me see something here. Abby says, okay, so I read Abby a few ago, I think it was. Abby says, I know who the two men were. The flirting man. Okay. So Abby had the one with the two guys coming through. One who was like 6'3", one who was 6'1", the one who had the hair going back, the other one who did it from the right side to the left parting. She said, I know who the two men were. The flirting man said that so I would know who he was. Of course he did. Thank you so much for this tonight, XO. You're very welcome. Hugs and kisses. Adorable. Okay, let's move on to another one. Vanetta Booker. Vanetta? Who's here for Vanetta Booker? Any messages? Any messages for Vanetta Booker? You have a grandmother coming through, says you've been working too hard. She comes in here with either a godmother or an auntie to you, an aunt to you, who may have had a cancerous condition. I can't prescribe diagnosis. This could have possibly just been something systemic that had to be managed. Also, I'm hearing the sugar, which can be like a diabetic problem, but I think I'm going back more over to grandmother for this. They're both in agreement here, okay? And the one smoked. I think the aunt, smoking or a cancerous condition, take it out, resonates. But she also says, you're not handling your stress very well, okay? So, like, don't smoke. Now, I'm not saying you do smoke or vape or anything, but there are a million different ways to take that path, whether it's overthinking, it's not sleeping properly, and then not fixing it, just like letting that slide. Okay, I won't sleep properly for 6 months. You know, that should be dealt with immediately. She said, nip it in the bud. Okay. Or worrying, having panicked thoughts, worrying about also your resources or foundation or the future of foundation, instead of like coming up with lists and getting organized and doing something about it. You know, cyclical patterns, the negative thought versus action being taken. A lot of questions. I'm worried. I'm the Wizard of Oz. I'm worried I'm going to end up like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. I'm going to be swept up in all of this. I'm going to be taken far from home. I'm going to be taken away. Not going to know where I am. Not going to know what to do. What if this? I can't lead. How can I lead when I don't even know where I am? It's like, where are you coming up with all of this? I don't know where you're coming up with all of this, because when we look at your circumstances, they're not that bad. Okay. And no one's belittling any concerns that you may have. Everything is valid, but they're not that bad. And we don't want to create a self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-fulfilling prophecy meaning that you are worrying about things to a point, spending so much time feeling it emotionally and visualizing it mentally, and even dreaming about it at night, that you're literally creating it. You're literally manifesting it, because what is manifestation? Manifestation is being in the energy of something, feelings, okay, visualizations, and being in alignment with it so much so that you claim it, you bring it to you. So they're trying to get you out of that cycle. You may also have some mentality of, I can't do this alone, or I have to stay in this situation, this circumstance with these people because I can't do this alone, or I can't do it without this, or I can't go forward in any other way. I can't just lean on myself and get to where I really ultimately want or need to be. I don't think that's accurate either. So when we go over here, also, I want to say with the grandmother coming through, this is maternal energy. I want to say I'm on dad's side of the family, I believe. I do feel another maternal energy coming through mom's side of the family, jumping in on this message. But you have been going through a significant period of stress. I feel like I want to yawn. I feel very tired. Like I'm exhausted. Like I just want to lay down. I just want to lay down. You may have like brain fog. I can't prescribe a diagnosis, or feelings like my brain is just sort of stopping. You need to take a break. There's talk of you for the next like 2 weeks, just being very careful, guard it, to take personal space and downtime. If you're the type of person who goes without having a specific time in the day to like shut off and stop working, stop thinking, you're going to want to, that would be the first step in all of this. Okay. So it's like at a certain time of day, you should say, I'm done. And it's basically like, don't bother me. And so you may slip and backpedal into like worrying or thinking or checking one more email or taking that text, or somebody bothered you to do something they're perfectly capable of doing on their own. You know what I mean? Or let me check this or get involved in that. No. I'm in a period of rest. No, I'm resting now. Okay. We have to remember that rest is revolutionary, and we have to learn how to do it unapologetically. This is an act of defiance for you, and it's huge, and it's time. And I think you owe it to yourself, and you need to take better care. Okay. Better care of yourself in this, but they'll be helping you through that. Now, also, I will just say these ladies did not do that well enough. Okay. Hence their karmic debt to you in this area. So sometimes, and this is just a message for everyone, and that message feels like it applies to 3 other people who are watching this. It's called piggybacking or collective messaging. They all come through at the same time with the same message. So accept it. But I forgot what I was going to say. Whatever. Let's just move on. It'll come back to me if it was. I have no idea where that went. Okay. Manny says, thank you so much, Ivy. You're very welcome, Manny. Thank you. CJG121. What the hell? That is bothering me. What was I supposed to say? I don't know. Whatever. All right, I don't know. CJG 121 general reading. General reading for CJG. General reading CJG. You hear that? Hold on a minute. Okay, sorry about that. My neighbor's dog was screaming. Well, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is. You have a gentleman coming through here, CJG, who is like really wide, okay? In through his chest and shoulders, and a little bit like thinner. What do they call them? Triangle shapes, I guess, like an upside down triangle. A little bit thinner as we go like lower on his body. His hair is pretty thick. Like he would have grown it out so that it was pretty thick. It's not like a full afro, but it's not like a 70s afro. It's like a 50s, it's like a 50s afro. It's like smaller, shorter, but significant length on his hair. He always kept it that way. He liked it that way. He let it go gray, sea gray streak. He's a bigger guy, and he's, I don't know, like, medium dark skinned. I feel like he would have had some hard times. And I saw him when he first came through here. He was showing himself. It's funny because this is the second like grandfather who comes through in a field. We got to go back in time. Everything was kind of a field. Okay. Everyone owned land. We didn't have neighbors elbow to elbow like that. We had a little room, a little breathing room. I feel like he's at his house, and I feel like he's out on his land, and he's just sort of thinking. He's letting the sun sort of shine on him and wash away hardship, heaviness. He seems worried. He seems worried about money, resources. And, then it was like, I was asking him, what other worries do you have? Because he seems like kind of worried about his lifestyle in general. And so you may be going through some change right now, and I'll break this down. But then we heard the dog. Okay. And that almost sounded like a hound dog to me. That was like a howl, like a yowl. Okay. And for those of you who couldn't hear that, a dog is symbolic of two different things in my symbol base. First of all, it is quite literally, which I didn't even think of until literally right now, it is letting the sun shine on your face. Dogs in my symbol base are about simplicity, peace, joy, acceptance. There is no greater religion than watching, I always say, right? A dog with the sun shining on its face. It's about being steady, stable, centered within yourself. It's also about loyalty. So we are, and with this dog symbolically coming through, with him simultaneously screaming, yelling out energetically, and with the dog literally for like loyalty, for peace, for the stability. I think that's a very powerful message here. So you are in a period of time where you're looking at everything, okay? And you're saying, is this loyal back to me? We're talking about written contracts, verbal agreements, relationships. You could be looking at work, business, money, so we're talking resources here, yes, of all kinds, including, investments. But we're also looking at the relationships that you don't necessarily categorize in your life as being super significant. So we're doing a reexamination on everything, and he's right there with you. He is making sure that you are in a place of, he's funny. He says like, and he's chewing on what looks like, I don't know, piece of hay, a piece of like long yellow grass. He's like chewing on it like somebody would chew on a toothpick. And he's lighting up a pipe also, which is ceremonial. I'll wrap it up with that. But you know, he is talking about you needing to be uncomfortable right now. So if you're uncomfortable right now, you're right where you need to be. You are going through a period of time where you're doing evaluations on everything. You're trying to make sure that everyone and everything you engage in, it is giving back to you. It is helping you to be more at peace, more centered, feel stronger in your foundation. Okay, that this is all worth it. Everything and everyone you deal with should be creating a lifestyle for you where you feel like that dog with the sun shining on its face. Your higher mind is screaming for it right now. And he's going to help you to get there. He may have handed down a bit of a legacy. He said a bit of a legacy of bad luck. But, you know, he loves you. I don't feel like you're super familiar with him. But you know, he does have karmic debt to you in this area. You'll be hearing more from him. He said right now you're playing chess, not checkers. So just get ready to make some moves, especially in the next like 3 months. I feel like you look like him too. Jawline, the eyes, like the color of your eyes, and also like doe eyes. I see like doe eyes. So maybe you have like long eyelashes, you know, brown eyes, but they're like doe eyes. You guys look like little deer. Very beautiful, very beautiful. Let's move on to another one. So definitely change going on there. All right, we're going to move on to Spider Bite 1. Spider Bite 1 says, this is so interesting, isn't it? This is what I do every day, day in and day out. I love it. It never bores me. It is interesting, very fascinating. Yeah, and so for anyone tuning in late, what we're doing here today is a test show. I want to see if you guys give it a lot of engagement, if I should add it to my 2026 show lineup. This show is all spirits, all channeling. That is your deceased loved ones in spirit, your deceased pets, ancestors, guides, angels, any spirits that want to come through. And you can drop a $10 donation and you can ask to hear from a specific spirit or ask a specific question or just leave it open-ended and see what comes through. Okay, so give this video some love. Thank you so much. And if you guys want to do this privately, you can go onto my website, Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com to book a reading. So yeah, if you guys are watching this, so you're like, what kind of reading is this? This is psychic mediumship. So this is what I do. This is the main thing that I do. All right. And that is just, I talk to the dead for a living. Basically, spirits are going to come through, whatever kind of spirits, and they tell me what to say, and I give out messages to the audience. Vanessa Dempsey, readings, spirit message. What does that mean? Vanessa Dempsey is next. Is this just a general readings, spirit message? Okay. I'm assuming... Is that what that is? Can you just clarify, Diana? Vanessa Dempsey is just a general? Is that accurate? Okay, thank you. Vanessa Dempsey. Who's here for Vanessa? Vanessa Dempsey. What message is coming through for Vanessa? Vanessa Dempsey. Spirits for Vanessa. We got a lady coming through here who is a little bit more plump. Cardiac. I can't prescribe a diagnose, but there may have been some heart conditions. This is clogged. That's clogged. Now this is clogged. It was like whack-a-mole for her before her passing. She may have gotten quite a bit up there in age. She lived a full life. She was a real blessing to everyone. Watches over you in a maternal way. I'm going to go with a grandmother on this. But there's another lady who comes in here also with her, who's kind of creeping me out a little bit, I'll be honest. You know, she's taller and leaner. I don't actually think she's that tall. I mean, I think she's maybe 5'6", but because she's leaner, she looks taller. And I'm seeing her in like a Victorian dress, like very long sleeves. Okay. A little bit of lace at the end of the sleeve, but like a cuff. She, I think, made this dress, or she told the person who made this dress how she wanted it made. And so it has these very long sleeves. It's almost like stripes. So it would look like a button-down shirt. I don't know why she's giving me so much detail on this. We'll get there, okay? Just bear with me. It would look like a modern day button-down shirt that's like striped, or like my wallpaper I have that you guys see in my background all the time. But it's very light colored. It's very like a very light yellow or like a cream, okay, on a white background. And then at the wrist, it's got like a border, like a sleeve, like a cuff wood, and then lace around the outside of that. Okay. And a nice button. So it was kind of the kind of button that would look like cufflinks. So she spent a lot of time on detail around, which is really actually kind of cool. Very fashionable, this lady. I feel like you are too. You take after her a lot. I don't think you have any idea who she really is, but we're going back a few generations. Okay, Victorian times, grandmother. Let's talk of your dad. Okay, so I'm on dad's side of the family. And was there a point to this? Okay. And then she's holding a candle. Not to be creepy, but like that's what they had, that's what she had. She had to use candles. She's holding up a candle and I don't know, walking around checking things in the house. It's like I'm checking on the kids. I'm checking on this heater thing. I'm checking on did I lock this or turn this thing like down? Did I, she's walking around checking things. But when she approaches you, you may wet the bed. I mean, you may lose it. It's a little overwhelming. She's a very stoic individual. You'll be having more visits from her. If you are doing anything with your like spiritual development, your intuitive intelligence, energy work, if you're doing more with any of that, she is the person who will be leading and guiding you through that. I always tell my students, don't be alarmed. You're going to have one ancestor or one loved one. Maybe you do know them, but they're going to come through and they're going to lead and guide you through that process. That's what she's doing for you. Okay. So whether you're doing this intentionally or not, that's what she's doing for you. She was incredibly psychic, ridiculously so. I think she took money for it. I see her hiding what looks like bones. So she may not have been allowed to publicly do this, but I see her taking what looks like chicken bones, or she's saying like hens or fawns, or I don't even know if fawn is a bird. I don't know what I'm talking about. Fern or it's kind of bird. And people may have kept them and then eaten them, but like everybody had them, like a pet, back then. And she kept the bones and they would have been in a cloth. Women really have not been free. You think you're dealing with some religious character, and instead you go to see her for some help, for some healing, for some answers. And here she is, a full-on channeler, incredibly psychic, and she takes out these bones wrapped up in this cloth and gives you a reading. I mean, it's crazy stuff. And our grandmothers were always doing this, whether it was pretending to play cards and they were using the cards as a tarot deck, whatever. She's helping you through this sort of next level up with your intuitive intelligence. And she's saying that you're in a period of protection. And this goes along with the other lady who is here. You're in a period of like protecting others. I don't know how else to describe this other than you may be taking on a real revolutionary position. You may be, butting up against authority. You may be like FIC. You may be like helping your neighbors, right? You may be protecting people, fighting on the right side of history, fighting on the right side of fighting for justice. You may also be getting into more advocacy work. So this could be, we're talking everything from marching to like helping people get access to the care that they need, okay, through social services and things like this, counseling, all of this. Anyways, just know these two ladies have your back and you're about to take this up to the next level. Actually, it's about to move up to the next level. So they don't want you to feel like you're just going along for the ride. Be an active participant in it. Okay. And this is for your highest and best good. So more money, more connections. Okay. More wealth, all of it. They are, God, they're such opposites, but I think they're from opposite sides of the family also. So that makes sense. Um, let's go on to, we were doing Tiffany Williams next. Did I write that? I did not. Tiffany Williams, who's here for Tiffany Williams? Tiffany Williams, money, 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 honey, money coming in here from the left, which is going to be your past. So this can't be brand new. This has to be based on a title you recently earned, certification, research, education, something you trained in, something you did, something you invested in, at the very least is about to pay off. Now, some of this could also be connected to recent, because this is a recent past here. We're talking within the last year for sure, but I would even say the last 3 months, maybe 6 to 7 months. There is a division between the 6th and the 7th month back. So 7 months ago, things changed. Okay, for sure. But it's networking, it's people you could partner with, it's opportunities being offered through different means. You have a lady coming through here who's talking about this, as well as your work and money guide. Okay, your work and money guide watches over not only your paycheck and your medical insurance, but your life contract, meaning what you signed on to before you came to Earth. And so I see the two of them working together. This feels to me like a strong maternal energy. I feel like I'm on mom's side of the family. This woman knew money. Lighter eyes, brown hair. She knew money. She knew how to put money away. I don't know if she was I don't want to say she was stealing it. I mean, how do you steal from your spouse? But maybe, maybe she was the type of woman who couldn't get out of a marriage, because none of us could until recently. So she was trapped, financially or whatever. But if there was some discord with your grandparents here, she wasn't the type to just be submissive and be a victim forever. It was I can move this money. He's not looking. He may have also glug glug a little bit. So it's she was strategic about when she did it, how she did it, with how much, was pretty confident she was going to get away with it. She moved money. She moved resources. She moved things around regularly. So it almost feels if this isn't a great investment, I'm going to move this over into this investment. She kept her cards close to her vest. She talked to people this was her way of researching. She said nowadays, maybe you just go online, you've been researching a lot of things, with money, resources, leveling up with career, investing in whether it's entrepreneurship, independent contracting, consultant work, business ownership. Maybe you're doing a lot of research that way. But what she did was she would talk to a select couple people. And she would pick their brains or sit down with them or, even get books from them or go to the library to research it. She enjoyed doing that kind of thing, but she really did keep to herself. She didn't want anyone else knowing her business. You seem a lot like her. And she says that you're her spit and image, which can mean you look a lot like her. But I also feel that you think a lot like her. So it's you know what? Everyone doesn't need to know my business right now, but I am going to go talk to so-and-so in town who knows a lot about this or can steer me in the right direction to who does. I'm going to have a private meeting with that person. I feel what's happening is that you have all of these resources coming in, and resources in my symbol base aren't just about cash. It's including cash, but it's investment opportunities. It's, working with other people, think of resources. There are a million resources. It's also your skill set and seeing yourself as the resource, which is sort of the base. She said, go back to that, the base, pull that out, flesh that out. The base of this message is you have reached a point in the last 3 months or so where you are ready to stop seeing the outside world as your resource. I need this job to eat. I need, money from my spouse. I need this bank, this institution, the government. to support me. It's like, well, I can't make changes because if this employer doesn't like it or if things go awry, what will I do? Nope, you're done. You are now seeing, and she's encouraging this. This is the very beginning of this journey. I don't even think you've fully launched into it yet, honestly, because we're still like here, which is present energy, current timeline. You are about to launch into seeing yourself as the resource, okay? Which means instead of looking out here when making decisions, again, especially about your money, your resources, your investments, your partnerships, instead of looking out here, you're going inward. You're being introspective and also asking her and asking your work and money guide, who oversees your finances, your life contract, getting better instruction from them. I feel like part of this journey for you too, as you come into greater wealth and prosperity, is leaving some relationships behind. And I know, and this may be a tough pill to swallow, she says, but you can't see your money, your resources, your wealth, your opportunities, and your relationships with other human beings is two separate things. Everything's connected. Okay. So she's talking about what is like, I'm always referring to the spider web versus the categories. We've been raised up to believe there are categories. Okay. So you got work over here, health over here, relationships over here. These things will never meet. One has nothing to do with the other one. Oh, yes, they do. Everything is a spider web. Everything is interconnected. And if you have a big gaping hole in one area of the spider web, it's not going to weather the next storm. Okay. And everything is absolutely interwoven. And what she's trying to get you to do, to see and to understand, is that if you have relationships, circumstances that you've been investing in that are below you or draining you, they got to go. They got to go. You want this money, you want this stack, you want this cash, you want the bag. Well, you're going to have to clean up some other things. And that just, I feel like it's a little bit of a collective message. I feel like that's the second or the third one we got tonight. Okay. So for any of you who are like, why isn't this thing working? And I'm not saying, Vanessa, that's what you're going through, but I'm just saying for anyone, if you're looking at some aspect of your life, you're like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this going my way? I put in so much effort, this and that and the other. It could be that you are participating mentally, emotionally, physically, literally participating in something that is below you. Okay. It's draining you. You're not allowed to do that. It affects everything. You can't manifest in one area and do the easy, complacent, passive thing in another area. You can't. It doesn't work that way. Okay. It's the law. All right. Let's move on to another one. We are going to take, who's next? Alicia Fulvey. Alicia Fulvey. Would like to hear from my mom, Rosalind, please. Open to my father, John, as well. He's probably, okay, with her too. Okay, so we have Rosalind and John. Okay. For Alicia, Rosalind, and John. Yeah, 100%. So we've got mom coming through over here. She has a book for you, a book, and what looks like a tarot deck. Although I thought these were playing cards. Maybe these are playing cards. What are these? I don't know if you've been getting into tarot. Seems like you'd be good at it if you're not already doing this. Okay. If you're not already getting into tarot, she may be gifting you a deck, but I do think these are, oh God, what do you call them? Come on. What's the name of this? Cards with no words. What is that? My tarot readers, what is that? Cards with no words. You are entering into a period of time, okay? She's also giving you red rose, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time somewhere. This can also just be, a deep love or passing anniversary. So take it how it resonates. but she's talking about giving you a book and your father. I don't know if you have a tattoo of your father, something about your father and the tattoo right here. This could have also been his tattoo. Also reference to a sunflower. Okay, so these two are going to jump around a lot. That's okay. Sunflower, which is spiritual development, oddly. It is also, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. And a sunflower tattoo, maybe. He's also giving you a white rose. So if there was not a proper goodbye or there was a lack of closure surrounding his passing, just know he's addressing that. The white rose, and he's pulling the thorns off, it can mean that there wasn't a proper goodbye or there was a lack of closure. Okay, surrounding his passing. It's also symbolic of you just going through significant amount of healing at this time. And something about your brother or a male you're worried about, or a male you're trying to like overreach with and caretake over, and like, you know, just make sure you keep your boundary lines in place. But they are giving love, okay, out to him as well. And there's talk of this book. What is this? It's like I'm not saying you're trying to write a book necessarily. This could be more like you're getting ready to learn something new. So this could be training, education, a new title, expansion. This could also be for you feeling spiritual, because in it, she opens up this book and your mom's got this great, what's it called? An oracle deck? Am I crazy? What the heck is the name? This is going to make me absolutely insane. What do we call these tarot decks that don't have words? She opens up this book for you and it's like this beautiful deck of tarot cards, but it's just like paint or images, you know, of what I think is like nature or fields, and it's got a very really almost like a Van Gogh feel to it. Or I'm sorry, Monet. And there's this excitement, like, we're going to talk more. She's like, we're going to talk more. Originally, though, that looked like a deck of playing cards to me, like traditional playing cards. So your mom is acknowledging that she was very psychic and mediumistic. She may have used the cards, as many women did, to pretend that they were like playing, you know, cards, but they were actually doing readings or having seances. She may have been somewhat involved in that. And I think that ultimately, you know, what she's talking about here is you being in a period of time in your life where you're wanting to have more connection with them. If you also felt like about a year to a year and a half after, maybe in particular your father passed, that you felt like, you know, he pulled away or you heard from him less, that's actually normal. That's very common. And that's a general message for everyone. That's how it happens. But they've been trying to get in touch with you more and more. And your dad jokingly says, like, your insurance warranty just ran out. It's like, let me scooch up in here a little bit closer, you know? And he sends you music as well as ridiculous memes and videos. Donkey vids. These are donkey vids and dog vids. And I feel like your mom may send you like cat vids and things like this. But I feel like where you're headed now, you want better communication with them. You want to understand, maybe even more in depth or faster when they come through, what they're saying. And I feel like you're really going to get there. So this is exciting. This is also like with your dreams. You're going to be having an increase in visit dreams from them. Watch the symbology, look up the symbology, but get familiar with this deck. Okay, if you're not already. So they may be communicating with you, mom in particular, through like tarot or oracle decks or whatever they're called. The idea here, though, that whether it was a deck of playing cards, which aren't really tarot cards exactly, right? Or it's, again, I think maybe they're called oracle decks, where they're not tarot. They have no words on them. It's about your psychic ability. It's a form of scrying. It's the ability to trust your intuitive intelligence, to stop being double-minded, okay? To stop saying that your intuition is curious or interesting, but not necessarily important for your everyday decisions. You need to be done with that, okay, once and for all. And, you know, she's helping you to elevate into that. There's another lady who comes in here who may have taught her some of this, or you may have like really heavy faith, like alternative faith. I see this a lot with the Irish. I'm not saying you are, but, you know, before Catholicism took over everything, each group had their own faith and traditions. And I feel like grandma had that, okay, and would have handed that down to mom. And now mom's sort of handing it down to you. So you may also see her with a lady who's kind of big chested, okay, and wore a lot of blouses with flowers on them, like a lot of the short sleeved ones, but a lot of blouses with flowers on them, or sweater tops. Lovely sweater tops, little pearl buttons, pink, light blue. Like a lot of the grandma's got like a lot of pastels. Okay, pastels. Very chic, actually. She looks a little bit it's like, I don't know, maybe Chanel or something in some of these, or cashmere. But I think you're going to be sort of exploding into this, and a lot of it is going to come directly from them, okay, reaching out to you. So psychic, mediumistic, empathic ability increasing, and you know, make sure if you don't already have the deck, get the deck. You can communicate with mom directly, like calling her up on the phone through the deck. And if you're already doing it, it's her way of giving encouragement, because I wouldn't be surprised if you are already doing some of this. All right, thank you. They love you so much. And if I didn't already say so, Red Rose, okay, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. This can also be a passing anniversary or just a deep love. Take it how it resonates. Let's move on to another one. Who do we have next, Diana? Or are we at time? If you guys are tuning in late, thank you so much for being here. Drop a comment of any kind, especially letting me know where you're tuning in from. It helps me out in the algorithm. Give this video a thumbs up, and please do subscribe. If you are here on YouTube, please hype this video. All right, we're going to move on to Tanya Rivera. Tanya. Okay, Tanya Rivera, general message. Who's here for Tanya? Tall gentleman, who are you? This is Daniel W. Is that William? I see a D. I see a W. A brother, uncle. Okay, also coming in here, and a tall gentleman who has kind of a big nose. It's not really, he says it's not really my nose, it's this bump. So he has sort of a bump on his nose that makes it look a lot bigger than what it actually is. And he just jokes that, like, back in my day we didn't get nose jobs. Okay, or like that's not something a man would have done. Okay. But I do feel like it's also about your ethnicity. It's usually when spirit points at the nose, it's about your roots, whatever your roots are. Okay. So this is a period of time for you to look back at your roots, to remember where you came from. This is remembering that you're tough, that you came from a couple lines of people that survived a lot, that were innovative, that were also kind-hearted, that were the types of people to help out the neighbors or to help others instead of just caretaking over themselves. It's like, I'll let you in the house, come in here for dinner, come in here for the holidays, come in here to eat. If there were a kid who didn't have like parents, their parents were drunks or whatever it is, you know, we have people down through your family line. He's just reminding you of this, who would have been like, you can come in here and stay. You can come in here and live. I feel that he's very proud of you and watches over you a bit like a guide. That's not to say he is one of your guides. He's not, but you know, he watches over you in such a way where you are cared for You are sometimes even surprised by how well cared for you are. Like, oh, wow, the universe stepped in. I have a horseshoe up my ass, and gave me exactly what I needed. Or if there was a time of like poverty or resources were tight or unknown, it's like money does grow on trees. He's also showing with you the rainbow. So that's rainbow after the storm, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, hopes and dreams coming true. This is about you coming out of a period, where you have been like unsure about things and you're figuring out more of who you are. And he's leading you through that process. We're not entirely done. I still feel like another maybe month or so where you may be going through this pretty intensely, where you're having to almost be confronted, he says, with things that are going on in the world around you, people or circumstances, and it's forcing you to look more seriously at who you are and what you stand for, what you believe, and what you want to invest in. And things may shift. He said, turn on a dime. Things are about to turn. And this may be happening around 2 out from now. Could it be 2 weeks? It could. I was going to say 2 months. And what you're supposed to be doing during that time is to like go with the flow. You may launch. Okay. It's kind of like everything turns on a dime and you launch forward and you're like, oh no, the time is now. It's like something catches fire and you're like, I'm going with it. I'm also ignited to do this thing. And it may involve heavily helping others as well and using your voice more. And also putting resources away. So whether it's like putting it into a savings or investing very differently than what you had been, you seem to be making some changes with that as well. And I feel like you are also looking at yourself right now. He's also giving you a red rose, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. This can also be a passing anniversary or just a deep love. Take it out, resonates. But you're looking at yourself right now and you're saying, I need to like fill my cup, whether it's buying yourself flowers or taking it a little more seriously, where like every day, and I'm not talking about like meditation per se, but it's like every day I'm going to do something for my health, whether it's like walking, yoga, you are being more mindful about what you're putting in your body. And that's not just about food. That's about conversations you have with other people. That's about what you think on, what you reflect on, what you watch, what you listen to, all of those things. Okay. So it's like time for you to be pouring in, filling your own cup and pouring back into yourself, he says. I don't know if you have a kid, but there's also some talk here of like, you may have, I'm itching. My nose is itching like crazy. My right ear is ringing. Let's say you have a child, okay? And let's say you have, or someone who is heavily reliant upon you. You may be overreaching with this person. You may be like, what are you thinking? What are you doing? What do you need me for? Let me help you with that. Let me steer you in the right direction. And it's like, leave that kid alone. Like, leave that kid alone. Okay? That kid doesn't need you need your help. You need your own help. So if there is anyone or anything you're overreaching with, you're going to be catching yourself because Spirit's going to be pointing it out. Okay. And this may also be like the right ear ringing. Okay. Or your nose itching. And it's like, remember your roots. Remember your roots. Okay. You also found your way in life. Don't overreach. Let everyone be on their own journey. This is a big transition for you. And he's very proud. Okay. Very proud of you as you go through this. Very liberating. Also in the throat chakra. All right. We're going to move on to another one. Who is next? And for you guys saying like, oh, I didn't really recognize that person. You don't have to. I'm just channeling the people who are watching over you. So this doesn't mean that you spent a lot of time with them. These could be older relatives who have karmic debt to you. Just because we don't know our great grandparents or our grandparents on another side of a family, or if we were adopted, or if these are ancestors, just because we don't know them doesn't mean the message is any less powerful. This is not, mediumship doesn't care whether you recognize them or not, whether you want to hear from them or not, or whether you really understand it. Or not. They have karmic debt to you. They watch over you. They are here to guide you. And often it's not until we pass away and we meet up with our team on the other side that we fully understand what's going on. But you should be working more actively to get to know them every single day, especially if they come through for you regularly, or you're like, oh, I don't know that side of the family, or I was adopted or whatever it is. All the more reason for you to get in touch with them instead of just like so heavily relying on like the two grandparents you did know for, you know what I mean? It's a lot bigger than that. Mediumship is massive. Let's move on to another one. Vanessa said, thank you so much. Not sure who the other grandma on dad's side, but the one is my mom's mom. She is always around. Well, there you go. So you've got one lady who you're used to having around, and then you've got another lady who you're not used to having around. So you're going to want to lean into that. Okay, for sure. Let's look at another one. This is Love and Beloved. Any messages coming through for Mindy? Okay, Mindy. Who's here for Mindy? What do we have for Mindy? Your relationship guide is coming in here, and your joy guide. It watches over your mental and emotional well-being and your spiritual development. And what they're mentioning here, okay, is an Alice in Wonderland scene, but on a chessboard or on a checkerboard, okay, or a black and white like checkered floor. I feel this is symbolic of you, where you are right now, and what you're kind of entering into. So your joy guide and your relationship guide are both helping you to navigate this chessboard and to maintain an attitude like Alice in Wonderland that is less worried, less worrisome, they say, and more frivolous, a little bit more curious, a little bit more like the Cheshire Cat. There's a little table with a little vase on it. I thought it was a vase. I think it's a drink. I think it's a cup of some type. There's a little table here, and they show you as Alice kind of like moving right now where you are in life and what you're going to be in for a while, probably at least 3 months. You can move to any square. Okay. You could go to the black ones. You can go to the white ones. You can go backward, forward, whatever. You could sit down and cry about it. You could, sit down and daydream, for a while. You can do whatever you need to do. Like, time is on your side and things don't move. It's almost like the clock stops when you do. And once you get moving, though, the clock moves. So you dictate time. This is trippy. This is really weird. I don't know where it's going. Just bear with me. It'll get somewhere sometime. So you finally have gotten the upper hand on time. And that's not, I would love to say, oh, this is a master skill or you've learned how to master this. I think there is a component here where they have been teaching you for a long time, as have like several grandparents for the last 5 years. They have all been helping you and teaching you to own time instead of being pushed around and like bullied by it. Okay. Like society will do to you. But I think, yes, there we have some mastery, and that's great. You're coming into that more and more where you're like, I'm going to go at my own pace. I'm going to slow my roll. I'm going to unapologetically take up space and slow time down. And I'm not going to be rushed. I refuse. And this is going to present as an opportunity through almost like a series of tests where it's like, I'm meeting up with someone who is confusing me, rushing me in a position of authority. And I am still going to, like the queen on the throne with the sword at her side, take my sweet ass time. And I'm going to get what I rightfully deserve. I'm going to get my answers. I'm going to, again, take up space. Now, so pass those tests, okay? Don't let anyone rush you. But I also think, don't you rush you. But also, with this little vase, it's like, is she going to drink it? Is she going to drink it? And I can hear your guides talking. And for those of you who've ever like had a real trippy experience where like you can actually hear your guides, sometimes you can hear them not only conversing, but almost like arguing about how something should play out or what the different suggestions are. And I have that happening here a little bit where it's like, I have them talking and being like, is she going to drink it? Is she going to drink it? It feels like if you drink this little vase of like potion, some kind of potion, it feels like you're going to shrink and you would have an opportunity in the next could it be 2 weeks? It could. I was going to say over the course of the upcoming 2 months. It's probably going to be both 2 weeks and then again at 2 months. You're going to have an opportunity to kind of go under the radar, get a lot of things done that you would not have previously been able to do. Okay. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. And shrinking, becoming invisible. Okay. Going under the radar is your power right now. Okay. It's a source, it's a tool for you to utilize right now. So in whatever ways come up where you're going to have an opportunity to do that, I want you to think of it that way. I am going to go ahead and drink this, and I'm just going to kind of like shrink down and get a lot of stuff done behind the scenes when no one can see me. It's almost like doing it at night, that type of an idea. I feel you breaking chains, breaking curses, breaking karma, all kinds of things, and no one sees you coming. Okay. And you have an attitude going forward in life of like, I don't know, Alice, like more curiosity, than anything. And that really was her superpower, right? Was that she could have been thrown by everything and anything that was going on, but instead she took a sort of curious, adventurous attitude about things. So just know that was really weird. That was a peculiar message. But it'll make more sense as time goes on, and they want you to see everything sort of in that frame. And don't forget who you are. You don't need to be worried about stuff. Just be curious about stuff. Okay. And control the clock. Slow down when you need to. It doesn't start until you're ready to get moving. You call the shots for a while. And a lot of people, and that may be a general message for some of you too. I'm feeling that like there are like, I don't know, maybe even 5 other people who need to hear that. You're being pushed around by the clock. Okay. You're being rushed. You're being rushed. You have to master that skill of being like, I control time. I control what I do when I do it. All right. Turn the tables. Learn how to do this once and for all. It's going to bring you health, abundance. You're going to have law of attraction, manifestation working in your favor. All right. Let's move on to another one. We have any more coming through? This is Miami Heat, 3:05-ish for Hazel. Hazel. All right. What message do we have for Hazel? Who is here for Hazel? Somebody wants what you have. And I have a grandmother coming in who's like, well, you can't have it. You can't have it. Like, don't touch her. Don't touch her. Don't go near her. You can't have it. It isn't for you. So you seem to be pulling back recently and maybe becoming a little bit more like isolated, or you're keeping your plans to yourself. You're keeping your cards close to your vest and you're not really trying to share with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, or even people you've been close to, even with people you've been close to in the past. Your ideas, your plans, and how you're planning to, I heard like make money or move forward. So also something about residency. So when I'm talking about residency, it typically breaks down to 2 different things. This could certainly be where you live. Okay. But it could also be where you work. So there is some desire that you have coming up here soon to switch things up. Okay. With one or both of those. Mostly though, I feel like it's work related, and you're also not talking to anybody about what transitions are coming your way. Even if you're debating between a few different things, it's like, nope, I'm going to figure it out myself. And I'm going to listen to spirit, okay, and my higher mind and the universe and the signs and symbols that are steering me in the right direction, trusting that they are, using your blind faith to go forward, also looking heavily at like numerology, astrology, your grandmother also says. But there is someone who wants to know. There's someone who thinks you owe it to them, who's coming in here and having this attitude of like, well, why wouldn't you tell me? You've told me in the past. This seems to be someone who used to have access to you in a way where you would have talked to them about like day-to-day events and, random occurrences, the mundane. And there could have been a supportive, your grandmother said atmosphere at some point, certainly between the two of you. And now you're like, maybe not talking. I wouldn't be surprised if you have this person like blocked, or you're communicating with them in such a minimal way. It's like I am giving them nothing. Even if it is a response, it's not a real response, which can actually make people go crazier, because then your responses don't have the level of depth. You've chilled them out. You're short, but I don't even know if it's that much at this point. So I think what's happening is you got somebody who's trying to come back around. Now, again, this isn't happening here for a minute, but they're trying to come back around in the future to see what you're doing. If you have to cord cut from someone who's sort of stalking you in the astral world, signs and symbols of them showing up, their name popping up, them showing up in your dreams, do so. Because what she doesn't want is for this person to come in and kind of meddle in your affairs, or to get you to go backward in any way, or to drain your energy. Now, I don't believe, and I'm going to say this unapologetically, I don't believe that people can come in and put a curse on you, or I would be dead. Dead. Teats up. Okay? 1,000,000 times over. I don't believe that somebody can just, harbor ill will toward you and destroy your life. I don't believe in any of that crap, any of it. And don't ever let anyone tell you that's real. Okay. Is there spell work and hoodoo and yeah, sure. That doesn't mean it holds all the power, so you just need to remember that no one has the ability to come into your space, to interrupt your flow, to drain you, to attach to you, to meddle, whatever, unless you give it permission, unless you're feeding it, allowing it, sourcing it in some way. And I think that what she's trying to do is to help you to stay focused and to realize that people you've dealt with in the past have really seen you as a source of energy for them, but also a power player in general. And this may not end up being just one person where this comes to the surface, but a bunch of people. It may be coming out in the upcoming probably 3 to 4 months or so. But this could start as soon as 3 to 4 weeks even out from now. Okay, where people are showing you what they really think about you. Okay. You ever see those collective messages on TikTok? And they're like, this is what people think of you, this is what people are talking about with you right now. This is what people want to know, this and that and the other. And you're like, who cares? Like, it's not even a specific message for like any zodiac. You know what I mean? That's just me. But like, it's almost like that. It's like all these ones that cross your feed where it's like somebody's thinking about you. This is real for you. Okay. For you, that's accurate. You may actually want to listen to some of those. But she's got your back, and you'll be hearing more from her. This is a period of time for you to move up, move out. Okay. So the last sort of swarm, from the mosquitoes coming in here to try to suck the blood out of you. All right, let's move forward. I like to say new level, new devil. And for any of you who also kind of resonate with that message a little bit, there is a free mini class here on my YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium called Fighting the Dark, where I talk about the 5 different ways you go under attack every single time you level up in life. You may want to check it out. And there's part 1 and a part 2. Tanya Rivera says, thank you so much, Ivy. I really needed to hear this message. My great-grandfather's name was William. And the gentleman sounded like my Uncle Sonny. Oh my God, I love that name. It's too bad he didn't tell me that. Yeah, your uncle. I remember. Yes, you had an uncle there. Uncle brother. He kept saying uncle brother. Sonny, so cute. You're very welcome. All right, we're gonna move on. Oh, and then love and beloved 5497 is like laughing or crying. I can't see this emoji. The reading for me related to Alice in Wonderland made lots of sense to me. Thank you, Ivy. You communicate very well and are reading messages from guides and ancestors so well. I'm doing my best. Thank you. They take me for one heck of a ride. I hope it lands. Edgar says, okay, so the next one up is Edgar. What career messages does Spirit have for me regarding this year, 2026 career? Would love to do other things this year apart from therapy and increase my income. Okay. Well, I don't want to color it in any way, so I'm not going to gear it that way. Let's just see what they have to say. Career 2026 for Edgar. What do you guys have to say for Edgar? You have a grandmother coming through, red flower in her hair. Very like, Spanish Latina feel to her. Tamales? And I hear chickens nearby. I don't know if they're hers. And like a scooter? It's kind of like a motorcycle? Somebody on a motorcycle nearby? It's a moped. It's like a moped. She's very busy, very busy, very busy, very busy. Little on the chunky side, little plump, quite short. Maybe 5 foot. I mean, she's a small, petite lady. Okay, she's taken the flower out of her hair. This red flower, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. It can also be a passing anniversary or deep love. Take it out, resonates. But she's putting it in a vase for you. And it sort of goes from like a shorter flower to like a long stem red rose. She's putting it in a vase for you. And she's talking about put your money away so that you can have the things you need. Okay. But that's not what she was saying. She was saying so that you can have the things you want to have and take care of them. Take care of them. Invest in them. And she's referring to like this chicken over here. This chicken, so if I take care of this chicken will lay eggs. This chicken will provide food for me for a long, long time, even the family. Even if like a neighbor needs it, and I could also get like other chickens out of this chicken. I don't know if that's true or how that works, whatever. Okay. But it's symbolic. So it's like, I could have a bunch of other chickens that could also give me eggs and more chickens. Okay. This chicken is valuable. However, I'm annoyed by this chicken. I can hear this chicken's freaking squawking all the time. It's under my feet. It pecks at my feet sometimes. If I'm trying to sweep, this chicken comes around and makes a mess purposely. This chicken feels like a pet, okay? An annoying pet. And I think you may be looking at your resources, your investments, your career, okay? And you may be saying these things are like somewhat burdensome. You're not seeing everything clearly just yet. Try to take more pride in the things that you have, whether this is an apartment, this is your job, this is your current title, this is your car, this is, I don't care what it is, your clothes, your shoes, your food, your body as a vessel. Okay. Try to put more pride into the longevity of these things and know that if you like pet that chicken, you talk to that chicken, this is nuts. I can't imagine watching this back later. You give that chicken love. Anyone tuning in late is like, what the hell? Or swipe. If you take care of that chicken, okay, and she's like joking, like you comb the chicken, this chicken will love you and this chicken will give you better eggs, healthier, okay, food. And will be loyal to you. Like the way it follows her around like a dog, it's like what you pour into your resources will pour back into you. And again, we're not just talking about your career here. Okay? We're talking about, again, your vehicle, your clothes, your body, your mentality, your relationships, all of it, the house, okay? All of it. And don't be in such a rush, to kind of get on to the next thing or something better, that you're not taking care of what you already have. I feel like that's a big lesson for a lot of people. I feel like this is actually a message toward me. I feel like I'm being called out and seen here. But, you have bigger opportunities coming in 2026. She doesn't want you to worry about that right now. She's like, don't worry about that right now. Don't worry about that right now. Okay. You can worry about that later in 2026 and in 2027, the first quarter of 2027. Not right now. Right now, you're being watched. Universe is waiting to see if you're going to take the amount of pride, invest the amount of attention and energy into your current resources. You're going too fast. You're pushing. Okay. Be present. Yeah. Cause it's almost like you're trying to put all your eggs in one basket. It's like, also don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't push so hard on certain things. Let it spread out. Let it spread out. She is brilliant. I feel called out. I'm going to have to make some changes. I totally agree with this message. And a lot of love to you also. She's super funny. Was there something from Miami Heat? I didn't see it because I didn't get a chance to see it. Okay. Miami Heat 305-ish said, thank you so much, Ivy. That was amazing. You are welcome. Hazel, Miami Heat 305-ish. We have another one coming through. Missy Calvillo 263 for Missy. A general reading, please, and thank you for Missy Calvillo. Missy, who's here for Missy? You got a guy coming through who is pretty solid muscle on the taller side, like 6 foot. And then you've got another guy coming through who is like 5'9"-ish with the belly, with the pregnant man belly. This is actually, I think it's a sign of diabetes, but I can't prescribe diagnose. Anyways, some hair loss here too, like a receding hairline. But he was holding on to what he could. I'm gonna take those 4 strands there in the middle and I'm gonna, kind of clean shaven actually a lot of the time with him. Nice jawline on the guy with the belly. And then the bigger guy, big hands, engineer's mind, talk fast. I talk fast, I work fast, I think fast, we go fast. Let's go. His brain is constantly moving. He is or he's sleeping and snoring loudly. It's either this or it's this. Okay. There is no in between with him. Feels like businessman, talking with everybody, could sell a ketchup popsicle to a lady in white gloves. So can the one with the belly. Can sell a tuxedo to a penguin, he said. He's freaking hilarious. This chubby one's funny. Okay. So these gentlemen come in here like watching over you in a paternal way, although one feels a little bit more like an uncle, like a little more detached. And what they're talking about here is you, okay? Taking after them and entering into a period of time where it's like, these guys feel like opposite sides of the family, but they're very, very similar. And so you're a blend. And you carry with you this ability to like think, go on to the next. 15 tabs open in your brain, but also being able to work a crowd, being able to manipulate a social situation, being able to sell something. But you've been a bit behind the scenes. You've been a little bit like, I don't know if I want to say I heard working for the man, but it's like you could be feeling like you're just sort of putting everything into like a field that you don't really believe in, a career you don't really believe in, corporate America, some business that you don't really believe in. It's not really, everything you put out isn't really coming back into your pocket. It's like you're working under a system or for someone where it's like they take the majority of the cut. And I think you're entering into a period of time where you want to ensure you're getting everything back because you can. I also think you've been shrinking yourself. And you may be like, I actually kind of, like what I do and I'm okay with it. That's great. That doesn't change the fact that you could be doing more. And that every time it's come up to the surface for you, you have chosen to shrink yourself. This goes way back to childhood where you may have been told and believed and feel comfortable now in choosing very traditional routes with your work. It's like, I am not going to rock the boat. I don't want to do anything unconventional. I don't want to feel like I'm pioneering anything. This is predictable. And this is what normal people do. And this is what I've been investing in. However, there is a call to action here for you to do more, move up the ladder, be higher. This could be consultant work, independent contracting, entrepreneurship, business ownership. This could just be, you taking on some type of higher position as well within the field if you choose to stay there, but feeling more liberated and that you're able to also use I heard a lack of conformity. I heard use more of your creativity. And I have those coins coming in. There's a grandmother here too, who's like, dropping coins from the heavens. Now, this could look like when she comes in to communicate with you, pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, tokens. We call them pennies from heaven. She's leaving you these to get your attention. I have her in a white shirt with some like bigger flowers on it, but it's like a button down. It's got a little collar on it. She's a very casual lady, but she is very serious about money. And she wouldn't have spent a ton of money on like what I look like or my nails or makeup or like my hair coloring even. I don't even know if she really colored it. It's like, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, attention, energy, money, resources on this because I would rather save it up and create like generational wealth or save it up so I could take this trip or this vacation or save it up so I could get a better washing machine. It's like she was frugal, but she was a huge advocate for like saving and investing and getting back like passive income and things, in this vein. I think that's what you're entering into is a period of time where you need to increase your resources, long-term expansion and a nice trajectory here that you can only have if you're willing to rock the boat a little bit in your present. Okay, so don't think small. Just don't think small and let these remember your roots. I don't know how well you know these guys really. Okay, but they certainly know you, and you certainly out of everyone in the family have taken out you and one other guy in the family who's, still alive. You guys have this personality. This personality is money, honey. It is, okay? You can go anywhere with this. You can do anything. So don't think you have to be submissive to a system. This could also be like traveling. And I'm just hearing, and this may be for someone else entirely. Say you're a nurse, whoever's listening to this could even be back on the replay later on. I'm hearing another message for someone else. If you're a nurse, you're about to go for like, what is the bigger nursing degree? RN? Is that the bigger, higher one? Or you're about to maybe specialize in something you're debating, You're like, well, I don't know. I don't really like the hospital I work for. What if you were to do this independently? Could you be like a traveling nurse? Could you take it somewhere else? Look outside the box, even relocation, or going in other environments. If you don't like the current environment, it doesn't mean throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I do feel like gaining titles can help you with freedom and mobility a ton. Okay. So that was, Missy, take it if it resonates, but I felt like that was actually for some other people tuning in or watching this later. All right, and a ton of love to you. Let's move on to another one. Uri, MI19, first time tuning in. Welcome. For those of you who are tuning in, or certainly if you're tuning in for the first time, please do let me know in the comment section where you're tuning in from. And I appreciate you guys being here. Give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment. Okay, and please hype it up. Icy Trina, ICZ Trina. I'm Christina. My cat Binks was just diagnosed with cancer, and I'm working through that hardship. I owned her mom, Lily, and sister Dash, who have passed already. Will they? Okay, hold on a second here. Will they be waiting for her? Okay, Lily and Dash, and you're asking about Binks. And this is for Christina. Okay, was just diagnosed. I'm so sorry, Christina. That is really painful, and I can feel your heart breaking over this. You're doing the right thing. Okay, so I'm gonna wait until Diana. I'm gonna wait until you take that down. Thank you. So you're doing the right thing by, honoring his life and making sure that you're making him comfortable, and you're not forcing maybe some like long-term treatments that aren't really going to do that much or are going to take away his quality of life and things like this. Okay, so that's the first most important thing to know here. And when I go over here with Lily and Dash, I feel like Dash's name is actually quite fitting, okay, even if there was a slowing down as this one got older, because I see two different types of cats here, okay? It's like Lily is very calm, cool, collected, sort of reserved, a little bit, don't touch me, just a cat, okay? Typical cat personality, and Dash is like wild. I feel wild energy. It's like a cat with the zoomies, or I ate too much catnip. I think that when they come through and visit you in the house or in your dreams, you really can't mistake one for the other. Okay. And you may have increased visitations going on here. But it's like one's zooming all around, even as lights and orbs. Okay. And the other one is kind of like very stationary. Lily is very stationary. Yeah. Is this white? Is she white? I see like multiple colors though, like a brown spot or an orange spot. So to answer your question, they're already there. They've already been there. They're already with him. He is ready to go. He knows what's going on. And don't take that the wrong way. That's not like, he's in a period of, stress or anything like that emotionally, but he does know what's going on. And part of the reason he knows is because their presence has increased. And literally, as I say that, here comes Esmeralda Marie. Hi, Ezzy. You coming to say hi? Our little healer girl. Oh, hi, mama. All right, so that's a sign. Like I said, they've been coming around more. He knows this, and they're going to help him to feel safe in those moments. This is hard to discuss or think about, I know, but like in those moments, in those last moments, they want you to know that they're going to make him feel safe. And even somewhat excited about the journey. He is curious. He is a curious cat. And he is not going to be taking it as hard as you think, or it may not be as bad as it looks to you. Okay. Remember that cats love new things. Okay. And Lily just wants you to remember that she's got this. And she said the rainbow. What is this? It's some, I don't know what the term is, but it's like over the rainbow, something about like pet heaven. Going over the rainbow bridge. Okay. There will also be, she said that they're going to drop you a couple signs. I would expect to see Dash in some dreams. You hear her? You agree with that? You do? So you'll be seeing Binks or Dash. You'll be seeing Dash in some dreams, and before Binks is ready to pass. And then I feel like you're also going to be getting some songs, okay, some music coming through from Lily, and some other signs. that she's communicating with you, just letting you know that she's there as a support. I even feel like in the vet's office, there is a support. Okay. And when it's time and how everything will work out. You're very strong. You're very strong. They love you very much. I'm so sorry you're going through that. For anyone else who's listening and, is dealing with trouble with a pet, we did add to our 2026 show lineup pet readings. And so you guys gave that show a ton of love, and we'll have another pet readings show coming up here soon because, like I said, it was added. If you need a pet reading in the meantime, you can always go onto my website to book that privately, Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com for living or deceased pets. All right, we're going to move on to another one. And this is for CJG. What advice can Spirit give me for my career services, business, social media page I want to launch this year? Okay, so career, services, business, social media launch in 26. Okay, Spirit, what do you have for CJG on this? You have a gentleman coming in here who's like, hello, I love you. Do you want to come up? Come sit. Ow. No, we're not doing that. So career, business, okay, social media, all the things. So when this guy comes in here, he's basically talking about, and I'm hearing brother, that can be brother, uncle. Okay, brother or uncle. Please stop, Ezzy. You can come up or you can stay down. No, we're not doing this. Stop. So what he's talking about here is you needing to be a little bit faster, but I don't necessarily feel like this is about, I don't want to say that. It's not about being so quick that you're sloppy. Okay, it's just about being a little bit more, almost to a point of arrogance, confident in what you're doing. Okay, confident in what you're saying. So essentially, it's not what you put out, it's how you put it out. And for this part, I think we're talking about the social media aspect. So it's like I could, just for example, I could come on here today and I could be like, oh, this is a really weird thing to do, channeling dead people, and I don't really know how this is going to be received. Or I could stop every 20 seconds and be like, I don't know if I'm right, but, and I could waste an hour just saying, well, I don't know. Or I could come on here and I could be like, this is what it looks like to me. This is what it feels like to me. Here's what they're saying. Take it or leave it. If it lands, it lands. If it doesn't, I did my best. It's like you need to bring a certain level of confidence to all of this that feels like the way he shows it, it's moving quick, go. And I think the other element to this, and I do think he was in business, or he was always in management, or he was always high up, and he did have several things. He had 3 different things going on at one point. Some of this was like partnership, though. And does that matter? Okay. You may be getting into a partnership. Huh. But anyways, it's like if you go fast enough, you don't have time to get tripped up. If you go fast enough, you don't have time to worry about the details, right? Or how like other people are taking it, what other people think. What if this, what if that, what if the other? It can also, if you're moving efficiently enough, it can not only remove overthinking from you, but it can put out this sort of pure energy, this almost arrogant level of energy that attracts other people to it, like moths to a flame. People want more of it, and people want to see you People want to hear you. People want to invest in you. People could also hate you, but they can't look away. So be it. Okay. And that's what I see happening mostly with the social media stuff. Now, no one's going to really hate you based on what I see you putting out here, but they could see you as competition. Yeah. So if you're seen as competition, it's going to read to you energetically as like, maybe I should slow my roll. Whoa, don't come at me. It's going to feel like that. And you're not going to know why. You're just going to feel like, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe this isn't the right time. I don't know. I have a terrible foreboding. Good. All the more reason to do it. Okay. New level, new devil. So don't let that energy trip you up when it comes in, because it will. Now, none of that would be happening if you weren't going to do well. If it wasn't a big deal, none of that would happen. Because if you were going to, go out and you were going to launch and like no one gave a shit, then, you would probably be comfortable and at ease and like everything would just, kind of go nowhere. Okay. But at least it would be predictable. This is what happens when you have success. You have competitors. Partnership comes up here. Now, he is not the only one here, although I do feel like he was really good in partnerships. You also have a lady coming through who I think is from mom's side of the family, watches over you in a maternal way, may have smoked or had a cancerous condition, and she was a little bit of a rocker. Now, I don't know if this is her or there's another lady here who would have knitted, crocheted, stitched, sewn. I have the one lady who goes back a generation pulling out an entire like seam or stitch because it was done wrong and then starting over again. She's not bothered by it. She's not bothered by it. I'm watching it and I'm like, but you spent all that time on it. You're going to rip the whole thing out. She's like, that's what you do. That's what you do. Now, what these ladies are talking about is a little bit different for you. And then I'm going to wrap this message up before it goes over, or if it has already. What they want to make sure you understand is that if something is done wrong, you can go back and redo it. Do not be so stuck in your ways that you're like, well, that was my brand. I just put a video out on this the other day, oddly. That like, well, that's my brand or that's my motto. This is what I do. This is what it should look like. And I said in the video, no, it isn't. When you're doing something new, let the world tell you what your brand is. Let them show you. I mean, you got to start with something, obviously, but let them show you, okay? And be fluid in that. So if you have to rip that whole freaking seam out and restitch the indent, she didn't have a machine, right? This is by hand. So be it. So be it. So be fluid. Be fluid. This is going to go well for you. I don't know if you're waiting on money. I don't know if you're waiting on, like, I keep seeing a 5. I don't know if this is 15, 5,000. I mean, if it's like, if you're looking for a little bit to launch, it's like, that's also coming in. Okay. So with this, like a business loan, a grant, just even a credit card. I mean, you may just be putting this on, just to get going, but also don't, like he's saying, don't have to have so much that you're not just like doing it. If you're like, I have to have a new laptop, I have to have a new this, I have to have a new this. No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay. It's like you really have everything you need. We're almost there. Now let's move on to another one. Icy Trina. Icy Trina is actually just giving a bit of a testimonial. Thank you for everyone who's giving a testimonial on the messages that you received today. And please keep it up. Okay, Icy Trina, which is Christina, who asked about her cat. Thank you for the reading about my cat, Binks. I could see you absorbing my sadness, yet love. I can't even talk about it, honestly. Love how your cat chimed in. He just knew the question was cat related. She did. She 100% did. You can't make this up. Because where was she? Where was she? Okay, and for those of you who tune in regularly, she's always right up in here. Nope. Not today. She waited, Christina, for you. Okay. And that's a beautiful thing too, about when an animal passes, they have all types of other animals there waiting for them. Melsubi. Okay. Melissa is next. Melissa says whatever comes through. Um, Melissa, Melsubi, what messages do we have? What is that? I'm not telling you to like, you know, I'm also not telling you not to. I don't know what you are feeling about this personally as like a habit, but I know what he's feeling about it as a habit. It ain't a habit, right? It's a lifestyle. You have a gentleman coming in your fields. He's got a little bit of a Rastafarian feel to him, honestly, but I don't think he was. Although, he's almost got like a kind of Buddhist spiritualist, mentality. And while he's a little bit dark, I don't think he's a Rasta guy. I think though he may have grown his own, and he even has his own types of papers that look like, now I don't know where this is going, Melissa. You don't have to take this, but it's like leaves. These look like leaves. Something else he would have done. He was very clean. Okay, with the way he smoked. It feels ceremonial, but not just in the way that some people, when they smoke, it's like a ceremony, from the seeds to the papers to the kind I grow. It's like how I do all of this, how I sit, and it's almost like a meditative ceremony as I like pull out the seeds, and there weren't many. Okay. It's like very nice, very nice. And he would have gone through this process of like laying out the papers and then rolling things and then just having a bunch rolled. So this is almost like it would have looked like cigars, but I pity the fool who picked up one of his cigars and didn't know that wasn't a cigar. Eventually they'd come back from space. He's talking about with you. Okay. And he's got real like kind of light eyes for someone this dark. Like he's a little darker skinned, and he's got the I always say this is kind of common with Puerto Ricans. You don't know with us if we're going to come out looking black, we're going to come out looking white, we're going to come out looking brown with light eyes, we're going to come out looking brown with brown eyes. We don't know. He's got that mix to him. Where he's got these sort of lighter eyes, and they're very deep, like Pisces or Scorpio or Cancer eyes, like these a lot of water in his chart, very deep eyes. It could have also been from what he was smoking, but like, he's also got like this black rim around his eyes, which is symbolic of like, they've done research on this. People who have the black rim around the outside of their eyes, it's uncommon, and it also brings more youth to that person. They are seen as being more youthful. He says that you look like him, you think like him, you act like him. And what you have been wanting is just a peaceful life. And this sort of, Zen state. And you've done a lot of things in your life, sometimes to a fault, where you gave in too much. You overreached. You held space where you shouldn't have. You allowed for things that you shouldn't have. You collected red flags. And now you're in a place where you need to start picking up your sword and being a little bit more vengeful, handling karma, protecting your peace through the actions you take and through what you won't entertain. Okay. And there is this need with that increased level of like boundary setting, fighting back, okay, all of this. There is an increased need for you to maybe kind of, okay, relax, find ways to do it. If you don't want to do it in the same way he did, you don't have to. That was his go-to. He swears by it. I don't think this guy was on the earth plane very much when he was here, okay? And I feel like that's an important place of elevation for you to get to, where you're sort of living in the alternate universe. You're living in sort of a higher vibration all the time. You don't have to be sober and in this cold, hard world. You've gone through enough. You did the work. You're ready to kind of level up into this. There also may be some type of remedies that are being given to you that are going to help you to feel more at peace, at ease. And, this could even be like medical marijuana or some kind of, I can't prescribe or diagnose, or some type of like, you know, treatment. This could be something you're looking into also through sort of unconventional means. So if someone says to you like, well, why don't you try this to see if this makes you, calm down, less restless, or, it takes whether it be like pain away or makes you feel better. I mean, whatever. You don't have to be in pain to do any of this. But and you're thinking with this person like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I've never tried that, or I don't want to get hooked on that. I just feel like he's watching over you and he's making sure that that isn't what's happening for you. He wouldn't let you touch anything you're not maybe supposed to. So new remedies coming in for you, but also you needing to find other ways to decompress, to de-stress. Please stop scratching me, ma'am. This could also be things like walking, yoga. This could be meditation, anything that really puts your soul at ease, even like sound bowls. Okay. Listening to that. And he's going to be leading and guiding you, putting things on your path that are going to help you. Okay. To do that, because you've come out of it. You come out of a lot, and now it's time to focus. This is the next stage for you. Let's move on to another one. This is Camilla Carnes. Camilla Carnes, for dad, passed in September, want to hear from him. Okay, so Camilla wants to hear from dad. She said he passed in September. Camilla's father, he seems quiet. When he comes in here, he's actually coming from behind me and slightly over to the left. He's got his hands like this, and he kind of walks up a little bit, I don't want to say hunched over, but like a little bit, sort of quiet, a quiet energy about him. He was incredibly intelligent. And I feel like when he knew something about anything, if you were to ask, or if he were to get an opportunity to grab up that mic and snatch it for 15 minutes of fame, he would go and go and go and go and go and go. So he had a lot to say when there was something to say, he said. When there was something to say, I'd say it. Okay. And I don't feel like he was a big time pontificator, but I do feel like he had his opinions about just about everything, right? He was a thinker. He had opinions. And he says that you're like him. He said that you have his heart. I feel like you struggled, whether it was at the funeral or at the time of his passing. I feel like you struggled, maybe feeling like you didn't get everything out, or like he couldn't hear you. So there could be, you agree with that? A lack of closure, or feeling like maybe there wasn't a proper goodbye. I feel like at some point you almost tried to like write this down, or you were trying to write this down, or you were trying to talk to him and make sure that he could hear you. Just know he did. He could. He did. I also feel like things may have moved quickly for him. If I don't know if there's something going on with the liver too, something about the organs, the filtration systems shutting down. But I feel like his passing actually went relatively quickly once it did. Okay, this may have dragged, and then like it went relatively quickly. He said that you took over a lot of things. I'm almost under this impression that you may have handled a lot of things. So whether this is his personal affairs, his estate, the ceremony, anything, even his stuff with like other people, because I feel like you dealing with 3 other key people. This could also be siblings. Give out love to everybody. But I feel like you were the voice of reason. He said you were sort of the stoic one. You were the one. I feel you're very similar to him, okay? In that, like, I'm kind of quiet, but I am the strongest one. It's a quiet strength, and he's proud of you. I also feel like he's watching over the kids. So I'm assuming these are your kids, but any kids in the family, watching over the kids. In particular, there's a girl, there's a boy, watching over the kids, visiting regularly. assuming this is your dog. I see the animals see him, and he may show up as lights cascading out of the corner of your eye, lights in the room, orbs in photographs or videos. He said he's messing with your volume. I think he's trying to mess with your volume on the TV, but this would be any kind of volume where things go up and down. So it's like charging, uncharging, the heating blanket, the volume on the radio. Okay, he's messing with the volume, flickering lights. He's stealing energy from the technology, the lights, the batteries, draining batteries to better communicate with you. He's using that energy to better communicate with you. Okay, clairaudience is going to be his go-to. So this is showing up, especially when you're in the bathroom. Native belief is that the porcelain, earth, water, mirrors are all conductors of communication with the other side, which is true, but it can be a little weird because it's like when you're in the shower, or you're brushing your teeth or something, you know, your ear is ringing or you're receiving messages from him. So pay attention to the thoughts that pop in your head. It's going to come through as your own inner voice. Okay. Not all of our thoughts are our own. Clairaudience is his go-to. He also said he's getting pretty good at dreams. There are two in particular. Hopefully you remember them. I feel like you do remember the one at least. He's trying to use more with dreams. Talk of your mother. Talk of your mother. He just keeps saying, like, I'm with your mother. Just like, I'm keeping an eye on your mother. I'm with your mother. And a red rose there, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. This can also be a passing anniversary or just a deep love. Okay. And he loves you. Okay. Just, keep listening for him also. You may hear him audibly as you're dozing off or waking up and the veil is lifted between the worlds. That is also clairaudience. Only when clairaudience activates that way, you're not hearing it in your head as though it's your own inner voice. You're literally hearing him. You're audibly, okay, hearing him in his voice. He's also with his mother, your grandmother, who like made quilts, like literally patchwork quilts. Like if I were looking at like the way the Amish do. Okay. And she's been keeping an eye on you for quite a while. What was that? Can you pop that back up, Diana? Thank you. I'm so sorry for your loss, Camille. Was that Camille? I'm sorry. I don't know who I was just reading, but you know. Let's see. Melissa says, wow, very interesting. I'll keep an open mind. Okay, good. Excellent. Excellent. Do we have any more coming in or are we at time? We got another one for Carly Elizabeth. How many more do we have, Diana? Carly Elizabeth. Who's here for Carly Elizabeth? 2. Okay, thank you. This is the last call. So if you haven't already dropped your $10 donation in your question, or if you just want to leave it open-ended, feel free to do that. And if you haven't already done so, please do give feedback. Okay, let me know how this resonated with you. And yeah, we'll try to get to as many as we can, but this is last call. Carly Elizabeth. All right, Carly Elizabeth. Who is here for Carly? Carly, you have a lot of animals coming in here. So you have animals who work with you. You may have also worked with quite a lot of these animals, but I have everything ranging from like an orange tabby cat to a calico cat to what looks like a white rabbit or a rabbit. I mean, I was going to say white. I think white. Yeah. To a larger dog who I'm assuming is some type of German Shepherd mix. I'm not great with my dogs, but it's like I see brown fur and I see little black ones in here too, but like not mostly black, I don't think. So like a medium-sized dog, I guess I would say with that. You have a lot of animals. And what can happen with this is that it's not really necessarily, yes, these are your pets, but like it's also animals in general come through and work with you. And what that says to me is that you are a high level empath. So when you are a level 3-4 empath, you automatically work for the angels, the healing entities of the world. Angels will channel messages through you. They will direct you on who to go help, how to go help, what situations to intervene in. And you may get moved in life frequently every 3 to 6 years from job to job or place to place or group to group, in doing this different healing work. And it can even be exhausting. Like at night, you can wake up with, I call it the anointing oil. You wake up in the middle of the night, you have an oil over your eyelids, all over your face, but it's not greasy. It's not on your pillow. It's not making you break out. I call it the anointing oil because that's what it is. Basically at night when you're sleeping, you're often working all night long. So you could wake up exhausted because you're working for the angels and you have their anointing to do that type of work. But you're helping to heal people and intervene in situations. Okay. And when we talk about angels and we talk about channeling or claircognizance, we talk about trance. So we typically can't remember what we were doing. But you wake up and you slept 8 hours, but why are you so exhausted? Okay. Now animals come in to counteract all of that. So animals work with the high level empaths here on Earth. And that will happen in the real world. Like literally, you may always be attracting strays or things like this, but it will also happen in the spirit world. So when people read you, they may say, oh my God, you have this cat and this dog or this animal. Most readers ignore animals altogether, which is a real shame. But for those who know how important they are, they would recognize these animals all over you and be like, what the heck is this? Like you have an entourage. That's why. Okay. So you are here as a light worker. You're here as a healer. You're doing all of this healing work all the time, whether you fully acknowledge that that's what's going on or not. Therefore, you have this entourage of animals who are assisting you in recuperating your energy, cleansing out the toxicity, making sure that you are being aware of your need for grounding and cleansing and stability, helping you to remember to keep it simple, to stay centered. Animals are always centered. Okay. Even a crazy looking squirrel who looks like, he's tweaking out. I mean, he's still centered. They're centered. They're always centered. So they're giving this to you. And I think that one of the other things coming up here that's super important to pay attention to is lady who comes through. This feels like mom's side of the family watching over you in a maternal way. She would have cooked a lot, cleaned a lot, she would have ran around a lot also, whether it's like running errands or doing things for other people or being on committees or volunteering or doing this for the church or doing this for, you know what I mean? Or it's like, I have to cook all these things and I have to go get them over here for this, I don't know, community thing. Okay. That's going, it's like always going. And she may have seemed like she was healthy as a horse, and she may have been, I can't prescribe or diagnose, but it's like, even if she had health problems, it's like who goes like that, even up into older age. Healers do. High level empaths. Okay. Who are handling it properly do. And she's coming through here reminding you, okay, that you're a lot like her and that you are at a point in your life where you need to put a little bit more focus on your own healing. And if you've been reaching maybe a little bit of burnout or even just a place where you're saying, I'm not fulfilled by this, or I'm fed up, or I can't do any more of this. This is, irritating me. I'm agitated. I don't think I'm in the right place, or I'm dealing with the right people or situations. She is calling for you to re-examine the amount of self-care that you do, the amount of detoxing, the cleansing, the getting rooted and grounded, blocking of other people's energy. There's a lot more work you could be doing where you are if you are properly, allowing yourself to receive the healing energy from these animals, maintaining, which is your own responsibility, yourself, and then you can reevaluate. Okay, so just know you're going to be hearing a lot more about that. And of course, where boundaries need to be set, that's what we're talking about, and if it is walking away, so be it. But this too. Okay. And we're going to move on to another one from Abby. Hello, Esmeralda Marie. I love you. You want to come sit? You can come sit. Abby says, my father Gordon is very ill. Okay. Gordon is very ill. We live far away. Wondering if you have help in knowing his timing and when we should be there. Okay, so, for legal reasons, I cannot say when someone is going to pass, but let me see who is here with insight into this. So, I want to say they're from dad's side of the family. A brother? Okay, I think his brother, so probably your uncle or a brother. Grandparents, and sadly some children who passed early or just did not make it. Two aunts as well, a sister. Is this another grandmother smoking or had a cancerous condition? There are quite a lot of people actually here, which means they're here to let you know that they are with him. Okay, they're letting you know collectively that they will help him when it's time for him to cross. There seems to be some level of intervention going on here. So whether, and I can't prescribe or diagnose, but whether this is like hospice, I didn't think it was hospice. I thought it was treatments. There could have been a lot of like treatments being given to him that were sort of slowing the process down. He could have had some treatments sort of pushed. That's how he perceives it anyways, being sort of pushed upon him that weren't really letting him be authentic to what he and his body and his soul really want to do in this process. And he may not have been advocating for himself very much. Okay, a lot of people do that. They don't say anything. So, treatments are being done and it's like they don't say anything about anything. But at this point, he seems to have a bit of a different attitude where he's more in alignment. He's more at rest. He's more at peace. And they're showing him releasing. That means releasing any fear, any hold onto the body, any desire to control things. I also heard that fairly recently he stopped like verbally, either making sense or talking or really trying to control things verbally. So that's something that would have been witnessed. They're talking about 3. This could have been 3 weeks ago. I was going to say 3 months total. He may have started talking differently. Okay. And they want you to know that if you can go out there, not necessarily to be there for his passing, because he may choose to pass alone. But if you could go out there, take it out resonates. If you want to be out there for his passing, make that your agenda. That's fine. But I was going to say like between 2 to 3, this could be weeks. You may want to try to get out there, or you may want to plan a trip. Okay. Could it be months? It could. He controls timeline. And again, for legal reasons, I can't say. That's up to him. But I do think what they would prefer to see you do is to put a little more effort into like having a trip planned where you can go spend some time with him. Don't make it about his passing, which is his personal business. Okay. And if he chooses to have no one in the room, a lot of people do. And you're not going to be able to control that no matter what. But if you could go spend time and think of it like, and this is coming from grandma, think of it like almost like saying a goodbye or saying what you want to say. Okay. Giving him the love in this like tactile, organic way. Okay. That you want to. I think that would be best. This is a little bit of a situation too with him where like he comes through in spirit when he's getting ready to pass. He may have already started doing this, but like when he's ready to pass, he may come through in spirit, and you may be like, how is he coming through in spirit if he's still technically alive? I call it playing both sides of the fence. So this could end up being several days, like 3 to 4 days, where he's coming through in spirit and you're like, sure he passed, and you're checking and you're like, That's weird. He didn't. I must be imagining it. You're not. You're not imagining it. Okay. When someone's close to passing, they can communicate from the spirit world and still have one foot in this world. So they can do both. Hi, Mama. Right? Is it true? Is it true? I'm sorry you're going through that. Thank you for your question and a ton of love to you from them. Just know they'll all be there. Okay. There for him when it's time. You'll see a lot of people reach up. Okay, so we talk a lot about like, oh, spirits all around the bed. That can happen. Although typically I see like one at each corner of the foot of the bed. But it's usually more like they're reaching up. Okay, so you may notice him doing that or talking and tracking different people in the room. I'll have to do a sermon on that sometime. You guys let me know in the comment section if you're interested on what the passing process really looks like. All right, we're going to move on to another one. B Bumble X Text B Bumble. All right, B Bumble says, I want to see if anyone channels. Okay, well, we'll see who has something to say. B Bumble, I don't have like, okay. Who's coming through for B Bumble? I heard slow your roll and put your money away. Slow your roll and put your money away. You may be talking too much to someone. This is a strong female energy coming through, watching over you in stop, a bit of a maternal way. Okay. And talking about you may be giving too much information to someone when you shouldn't. It's almost like you're trying to prove something. I want you to stop. I want you to stop. It's almost like you're trying to prove something to somebody. So just remember, you don't have anything to prove. You may also be using your words as weapons, which includes the silent treatment, which is something she was very skilled at. And while that is not a crime, it could also be that several opportunities, two in particular, this could be with the same person, but two different opportunities will be coming in where you could communicate a bit better. Okay, so instead of like giving the silent treatment or detaching or talking too much and overreaching, try to figure out a little bit more about who you are, what you're authentically feeling, what you're authentically thinking and wanting to communicate, and just try that instead. I think there's some level of fear here. You may be afraid that a relationship may not make it if you do that. And so be it. If that's what this relationship is made of, then you have to know what you're made of and choose yourself. There's a gentleman who comes in here also who's, I feel like I'm more on dad's side of the family, watching over you in a paternal way, who always tucked in his shirt. Okay, so it's like, even if it's a t-shirt, it's like, I'm tucking this in, always was very tidy. He's talking about put your money away. Put your money away. Hi, Ezzy. Ouch. Hear that? It's going to be a lot of blood. Put your money away. Now, this is symbolic of you needing to be a little bit more, I don't know if I want to say frugal. I think he would have actually had a considerable amount of money and he would have not had any trouble spending it. But he spent it in investments. He saw it as an opportunity to, invest and maintain things that were going to be valuable and give back long term. He didn't just waste it on junk. And so there's, you're getting called out a little bit here, okay, to make sure that you're investing properly and that you are saving, okay, where you can, not wasting your money. But I don't even think he's just talking about money here. I think he's talking about resources, and he had really beautiful eyes. I'm seeing almost like green eyes, lighter eyes, darker eyebrows, and like long eyelashes, but they're very like beautiful, masculine still. eyes that could put you in almost like a trance, you know. These are eyes that I feel like you have, and you could use them a little bit like a weapon. So I think that what he's talking about here is you having more resources available to you than what you think. So we're not just talking about money. We're talking about the way you look. We're talking about the way you talk. We're talking about your body language. We're talking about your skill set. Okay. In this case, even partnership or networking opportunities. Okay. Can you sell things? Can you sell yourself? Can you sell ideas? Can you get people to engage with you? Can you move up the ladder using those skills? Yes. All right. And start investing in that and put your money away. You may be moving. Yeah, you may be. Because I feel like some of this is just like also literal money. And it's like, where do I want to live? You know, where do I really want to be? So some transition there. Now that can also be your workspace. And they love you very much. Thank you. Abby says, thank you so much, Ivy. You're welcome, Abby. Thank you for tuning in. Amanda. Okay. Is this my last one? Okay. Amanda says, anyone that channels. Amanda, what am I getting for Amanda? Who's here for Amanda? You have a gentleman coming through who watches over you like a brother, but I think he's more of an uncle. I'm hearing Davis, Daniel, a D name. Another guy coming in here, Bob or B, a B sound in his name. A short name, like 3 letters, 4 letters. I think 3 letters. You got a couple people coming in here, keeping an eye on you, watching over you in a paternal way, in paternal protective energies, making sure that if you've been feeling pushed or bullied lately, that you're taking appropriate action to get out of that situation. Because the first guy comes in here and shows almost like going up behind you and pushing you. And I was like, oh, he's encouraging her. And then I saw you fall. And I was like, that's not what that is. That is you feeling as though you've just gotten knocked down, or you're repeatedly getting knocked down by someone, a situation, a circumstance. And I think that instead of recouping and being like, I'm okay, I've got this, I'm going to get back up, everything's fine, this is fine, you need to take bigger action to like get away out of that system that keeps knocking you down. And they're trying to help you with that. So it's bigger picture thinking. It's also not time for you to have an attitude of like, well, this happens to everybody, or everybody gets knocked down, or it's just a bad day. No. There are plenty of people who, rightfully so, would recognize the first time they're pushed down and to be like, that will be the last time I get pushed down. Just not you. Okay. You didn't choose that, but you need to now. So it's fighting back, and it's leaving some situations that are trying to knock you down, to keep you down, to hold you down. You're in a little bit of a testing phase, and you may be feeling this more intensely in the upcoming week and month. And I'm even hearing for the first 2 quarters of 2026, where you feel like you're being tested and you can either stay stagnant. This is a pivotal point for you. Regress, or you can move forward into some uncharted territory for sure. In blind faith, yes, but not without helpful hands of protection. Okay. They're telling you to be more disciplined in the things that you want, the things that you're trying to achieve. This includes, you have a lady coming in here who, I don't know what this was. I feel like I'm getting injections. Okay. She may have had some health conditions she maintained for quite a long time, watches over you in a maternal way, but also feels a little bit like godmother type energy, which can be that this is a grandmother, but she's a little more detached than like your traditional grandmother. you know, there's talk here of you wanting to also change something about like your health routine, the way you eat, the way you think. We're talking mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic health, workout routines, you know, things like this. But it's like a lot of times you're like, well, I was going to do that. Well, I have plans to do that. Well, I know I need to do that. Well, I even know how to do that. I saw a video on it, or I know other people who do it, or I know what works, but you're not doing it. So you're also getting a little bit of a push from her to be more consistent in giving to yourself what you need and what you want. There's also talk from all of them collectively on you becoming the train. The train moves at 180 miles an hour in this direction. That is forward moving. I'm going here. Maybe I'll let you on my train. At the next stop, you may have to get off. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. But, you know, I'm moving. And this is setting boundaries with people, circumstances, and situations you had previously been investing in. But, you know, going in your own way and doing it quickly, also without a lot of sentimental hesitation, emotional reactions, or investments on what it means to make those changes. Okay, so this is a little cold, rightfully so, because it is time. Okay, so we can at least have that helping us out. But I see you moving very quickly into a brand new future for yourself, and they're celebrating this with you. Also, another lady coming through would have been like the last female to pass, giving you a yellow daisy, which is fun, travel, adventure, joy, even little trips and adventure, and sending you a ton of love as well. And a shout out from the last guy to pass, the last one in the family to pass. Give out love to the family also, please, from them. And him giving a red rose, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. This can also be a passing anniversary or just a deep love. And I think we are done. Are we done? Spidey Co-op. I think we're wrapping it up. I don't know if you made it in time. You are catching the tail end of a show. Okay. Are we done? I'm going to wait for you officially. We are at time. All right. So Spidey and anyone else tuning in late, you could catch the next one if you want to book a reading with me. And this is for anyone, a party or a psychic fair. Go to Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. And I do work internationally. Okay. So I work with all the different time zones. And if that's not working for you, you can also get a video reading. Also, final reminder that yes, thank you, Diana. I will see you guys back here Wednesday for what blessings are coming your way. Okay, so if you guys want to hear what blessings are coming toward you and when they're coming, you could tune in Wednesday for that. But also, I just want to give a reminder that the free seat to the psychic mediumship course is going to be announced on Wednesday. So if you want to try your hand at that, go onto my website to get in on that giveaway. Okay. And also, this is the last call to get registered for the psychic mediumship course. We start February 3rd. It is the only one I will be teaching in 2026, and I do not have any plans to teach in 2027 as I deal with relocation and publishing and a bunch of other things. Maybe that'll change, but as of right now, that's how it looks. So get registered. You can attend here in person, live online with the group, or through video download, or any combination of the three. Thank you so much for supporting this show. I would say this is another hit, and I do see myself adding it to the 2026 show lineup. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Spirit. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Have a good night.